live. Then we'll get an ad from YouTube like we always do. We try to start the stream just so I can do my goddamn audio check.
Burn Boot Camp isn't just a gym.
Yes,
It's not
it is.
just weights and equipment.
It is just a gym. Then we'll get an ad from YouTube. Alright, we're good. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's going on? Today we have a thing. It is an event not organized by me. I'm just streaming it along with HDS. He's not on this stream. I believe he is a Spanish caster, though I do not know that. Here is the quote-unquote bracket quick. Some things are highlighted in green. Don't worry about that. It's just replays that are already done because one or both of the players couldn't be here today, so they played ahead of time. 11 North American players. I think some of them are South American. Whatever. Western players. There's 11 of them. There's 11 Eastern players from the EU or those time zones. There were a bunch of different tournaments to determine who those would be. It was during my busy times, so unfortunately we didn't get to stream as many of those as I would have liked. But people have pre-picked factions, all these things, so it should be a lot of fun. It's essentially a best of 11. So first one to 6 wins it, right? But we're already into game 1, so let's go. The scorecard is updated. I am on the West team, so we're having a biased cast here. A little biased cast. Did you get an ad on your own stream? I always do, since they banned my specific ad blocker. And I need to find a different ad blocker. And some people are like, oh, just get one. Why don't you just get an ad blocker? It's like, I do have to do a little bit of research into it to make sure it doesn't fuck with my stream settings, because there's another level of complexity on it. I'm not saying it's like fucking rocket science, but it also isn't just plug and play. Because the 2 streams ago, I had a stream crash because YouTube, it interpreted an ad on my stream as being the stream. So when the ad ended, it ended my stream and sent me a message saying, how'd your stream go? And I was like, that wasn't it. So there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. And I'm not an IT person. I'm generally fine with technology, but not like super tech savvy. So this has all been a bitch. Yeah. So right now, I'm mostly focusing on just not fucking it up further. Anyway. And YouTube knows. They're sending some emails to content creators every so often about like, hey, check out this news posting. But if you dig into the news postings, you can see like, oh, by the way, we're trying this new like anti-ad block stuff that like might fuck with everything. Yeah. Alrighty, for game 1, we do have the Empire of Blood Penguin versus Tzeentch of Alfredino. Certainly an uphill fight, both in faction strength and player strength here for Blood Penguin, who is a very good player in his own right, but I consider Alfredino probably the best active player right now. Berserk's pretty good. Raced is pretty good. Bjorn's pretty good, but I don't know. I think Alfredino would have the edge there. So, we'll see. My game is quiet, so I'm going to turn it up. Hopefully you guys can hear the game, but I'm slightly louder. That is the volume level I desire. For Alfredino and Tzeentch, this is a try-hard battle, so I don't think you guys will be seeing much memery, much chicanery. We have the Chromatic Abominations, Blue Horrors of Tzeentch, the Sour Guts, Pink Horrors of Tzeentch. Both of them are Regiment of Renown. Shrieking Skyrays, Regiment of Renown, Shriekers, Screamers, sorry. 3 Chaos Knights, 2 Marauders of Tzeentch with Spears, and 3 Zongors. Is it best of 11 with 1 faction? One team does not ever play the same faction twice. So this is the only Tzeentch that Europe will be using. Kairos has Regrowth and Blue Fire. On the other side, for the Empire of Blood Penguin, 6 cavalry pieces, 4 Empire Knights, 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun, 2 War Wagons, Balthazar Gelt in the Sky with Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust, 2 Great Swords, and 5 Spearmen with Shields. Hey, Sun Tzu Tournaments, how you doing? Oh, my tea! My tea's still in the kitchen, and these guys are taking a little bit, so I'm just gonna go get it! Fuck you! I'm back. They have started. Both sides are advancing. Kairos probably wants to focus his blue fire onto the war wagons or sideways shots onto cavalry, most likely. It looks like that's what he's going to start out doing. Shrieking Skyrays get off their free little blast, and the blue fire hits the Empire Knights for a little bit of damage. I'm back before you guys even noticed. You didn't even notice I left. Shrieking Skyrays taking a bunch of damage. No sounds from the game? I can hear it a bit, but it's probably quiet for you guys. Sour Guts firing into Great Swords. Chaos Knights getting the charge on Unbraced Spearmen will do a lot of damage. And the Empire Knights do outnumber the Tzeentch Knights 2-1, but then they don't have armor piercing, so it's not like they can punish the Tzeentch Knights very quickly, and Kairos will probably be able to get off a regrowth if he needs it. War Wagons are pursuing and dragging down the Shrieking Skyrays, already taking those guys to half HP, and then a big Final Transmutation overcast onto Chaos Knights and Marauders. Interesting he's not throwing that onto Kairos, but I guess I get it. He has Oracle of Eternity, so he gets a bunch of damage resistance, and he'll be just fine, so I guess Gelt really wants to punish these guys. And I also understand him using Overcasted Final Trans right away like that if he has the Winds of Magic, because he knows that, like, Tzeentch is pretty good at killing a Lord, so he's not, he doesn't want to just sit around and try and draw this game out. He's like, quick, dump your damn magic in case Gelt fucking dies. Samaric, fair. Anyway, the blue horrors and the pink horrors are getting free shots right now, doing good to damage to the Empire State troops, but Blood Penguin is up on damage value at the moment. Now, Kairos, you can cast Regrowth, you can be Kairos, do Kairos things, but still, it is good to have a damage lead. Rather than not, we take those. Where are the Shrieking Skyrays? Did they die? No, they're existing, just barely. Tzeentch has lost to Zongor. A Marauder with Spears is also routing. That's what they've lost so far. They did have to use an Overcasted Regrowth on one of their Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. The Shrieking Skyrays have taken a ton of damage. But overall, they're going to have 3 healthy Knights after the Regrowth is done. And the Empire is struggling to actually finish anything off. As for the Empire, they've lost some state troops here and there. Some Empire Knights have taken significant damage, and another blue fire goes down the side of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, who, even with their spell resistance they get, they're not having a good time, and they will get surrounded here by Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Though a little bit of blue fire, friendly fire, makes them weak to fire damage, which the Knights of Blazing Sun will appreciate, so a little bit of anti-synergy there. Both War Wagons are still very healthy and have a ton of ammunition. The Shrieking Skyrays are almost dead, and I do like the Empire just ignoring Kairos entirely, because shooting him with War Wagons is not going to really result in much, so it's best just to take out all of his support and leave Kairos very alone in the late game. Chromatic Abomination's getting close to that Demonic Instability crumbling. -1 leadership, but it bounces back up to 20. The Shrieking Skyrays are also holding on leadership-wise, and so far, Tzeentch is keeping it together. Balance of power is pretty even, but slightly Tzeentch favored. And the Empire's running out of cavalry. You have a healthy Empire Knight, a healthy Knight of the Blazing Sun, but out of their 6 cavalry they started with, only 2 are feeling even remotely okay. Now for Tzeentch, one of their Chaos Knights of Tzeentch has taken a lot of damage. A big Final Transmutation overcast onto Kairos and all of these Knights. I'm really enjoying those ground-placed Final Transmutations, just harassing the Tzeentch forces instead of just specifically focusing on Kairos. That's pretty good. I am curious if he's been using Plague of Rust in some of these Knights, and I just haven't noticed it, but one Chaos Knight of Tzeentch is almost dead and pushed off. The Chromatic Abominations are crumbling away, and another Overcasted Regrowth is going to hit for the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch from Kairos. Kairos still has an insane amount of Winds of Magic, but the more he has to use those expensive spells rather than Blue Fire, the less life leeching he gets, and the less Tier 1 army abilities of Tzeentch that he gets to get more and more and more and more Winds of Magic. So forcing out Overcasted Regrowths rather than Blue Fires is really good. Plague of Rust onto these Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, but I don't see a lot in the area to really punish it. Spearmen are already routing. There's no cavalry charging, so I think that was a bit of a wasted spell. But War Wagons are continuing to just shoot at Chaos Knights, really whittle down those health bars. And I can't say that it's a mistake. For Tzeentch, they have 2 quite wounded Zongors and 1 Marauder with spears that's barely clinging to life as their infantry. The Sour Guts are now under attack by cavalry and great swords. The cavalry's going to fall back, and the balance of power is still dead even 5 minutes into this game, and I do very much agree. Both sides have been trading a lot. I kind of like the Empire's position considering how much ammunition their War Wagons have. If the War Wagons keep shooting the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, you will start killing off models, and regrowth can't bring models back from the dead. Not whatsoever. So if you get Kairos alone in the late game, he can't hard carry all on his own. Arcane Surge, getting that Winds of Magic recharge and the reserves we talked about before. The caster seems very friendly towards NA with the names. Nah, dude, nah. What? Nah. Zongors are routing. I wonder if Empire Knights will be dedicated to taking them out or not. Other Empire Knights are charging into Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, who get another fucking overcasted regrowth from Kairos. He has cast 3 at least in my eyesight so far, and there's probably many more to go. But another juicy final transmutation is going to hit the ground. Does Alfredino get out of it in time? It's undercast this time, so if he dodges it, it's not such a big deal, but it's still going to get out a little bit of damage here and there. Hits 3 very important targets, and these greatswords are still trying to chase down the Sour Guts. Pink Horror Regiment of Renown, who are just kiting about for now. But the War Wagons are saying their piece, man. They've already almost heal capped that knight. The other knight's healing cap is within sight. And that's really all Kairos has left in this game to heal. I mean, you can heal the Screamers, but with only 2 models, they're only going to get, you know, a pittance of healing. Sour Guts have found their way out of the fight so they can start shooting back in, and Gelt charges into melee combat with the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, trying to support his Knights of the Blazing Sun, whose leadership does falter, and here comes a snipe attempt from Kairos, landing on Gelt. Now, Kairos is a shit melee combatant, but I mean, so is Gelt, so War Wagons continuing to poke away at the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch of either side. Empire Cav was able to chase off some Zongors, but other Zongors and Marauders are rallying, and Tzeentch is once again ahead on the balance of power, even though he's down almost 4,000 damage value. He's leading on the balance of power. Tzeentch is broken. Broken. Absolutely fucking broken. Why am I being pinged right now? Okay. It's an at everyone, it's not about me. Gotcha. Another overcasted regrowth from Kairos Fate Weaver onto his Chaos Knights, who have just gotten so much fucking healing. Honestly, that overcasted regrowth might take them close to their healing cap, but I don't know what the Empire can even do about it, as they fall dangerously far behind on balance of power. The War Wagons are continuing to try and get shots off, try and do what they can. It's not going to be enough. The Sour Guts are still firing. They routed off nearly everybody. Tzeentch has some infantry support coming back. The Empire has nothing left to defend the War Wagons, who can kite and kite and kite to their heart's content, but it looks like even if they use all of their ammunition, they will not be able to get through all the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Gelt's actually going to take the fight with Kairos. Oracle of Eternity is popped, giving him pretty insane resists. 44% ward save flat out, then 20% physical resistance. The War Wagon shouldn't be shooting him right now because they're doing 64% reduced damage. Unfortunately, I think that's just throwing ammo into the wind. Tier 3 Tzeentch army ability onto War Wagons with Gaze of Fate pop. Now, I get the Sour Guts wanting to shoot in here, but I don't know why the Tier 3 army ability is being used onto those War Wagons. That seems a little weird. Yeah, that's the thing that happened. War Wagons, half health Kairos, still 6 volleys and 5 volleys for them, and Oracle of Eternity is down, so maybe they can snipe him out. Maybe. The Sour Guts are doing so much damage to the War Wagons, they've lost half of their firing capacity. And the Chaos Knights are just chilling. They're getting their barriers back. They're fine. When the War Wagons run out of ammo, they can carry the rest of the game, so they don't really care. There's just not enough DPS for the Empire, unfortunately. 2 ammo. 5 ammo left on the War Wagons. Kairos taking big damage, But there is yet again a regrowth. Is it overcast? It's even overcast. That is for sure GG. Tzeentch is broken. Tzeentch is bullshit. Fuck this game, but also fuck Kairos. This game being this specific one right here, not Warhammer 3 in general. The fact that Blood Penguin's up 4,000 damage value and is getting his ass handed to him is fucked up. That's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. Fuck Tzeentch. Worst faction in the whole game. Tzeentch, Cathay, and Kislev are the antithesis of fun in their shit factions. Really good value for Gelt. Knights of the Blazing Sun, Empire Knights, not great value. They were just used as blockers. War Wagons, actually one barely paid for itself. The other one got a little bit more than that. But War Wagons, not a standout performer. Great Swords did nicely. Very nicely. But yeah. Kairos did great. His value's not going to show it, but he got off 4 or 5 overcasted regrowths, which was fucked up. I hate that asshole. I hate him so much. Alright. No other values of note, really. So let's put the blocker back up. And then update the score. 1. And then our next game should be ready for us. Okay, Segos versus Strat. 1, 2, 3. Imagine playing Tzeentch without Kairos. Yeah. For my ladder and my tournaments, I have a team to consult with, for sure. I have a team to consult with, so I can't promise anything. But if patch 4.1 doesn't balance Kairos or Mother Ostankia at all, I guess maybe Zhao Ming, though I find him way less egregious. I am in favor of just flat out banning them because they are so broken, so obviously not tuned to this game. And if patch 4.1 comes out, they're still broken, I might just outright ban them because they're just shit. No one enjoys them. The only reason we hadn't done anything yet is we were stuck in this perpetual cycle of, okay, patch came out, 2 weeks into it, you figure out what all the OP shit is, and you're like, well, they said patch 4.1 is coming soon. It's already been 2 weeks. Let's just wait for patch 4.1. And besides, people are so pissed off about the Shadow of Change drama and all that stuff that our player base is super low. So whatever. And now 2 months have gone by. Still no patch 4.1. Our player base is still low, but you're like, and then they made another post saying patch 4.1 is coming, and it's like, okay, but when? So at this point, if patch 4.1 comes out and they don't fix some of this stuff, I'm personally on board with just like taking it into our own hands and banning this shit outright because it's fucking garbage. Mama O is completely insane. Kairos is completely insane. Zhao Ming is pretty dumb. He's just dumb. That's the hard part about it, is it's like he's to me clearly not as strong as Mama O and Kairos are, but he's still not working as intended. But yeah, the only reason we hadn't done anything up until this point is I was busy, so I honestly wasn't even streaming that much or playing that much to be that involved. Because I was doing a new player tournament every week, but that was about all I could manage. And new players don't play the broken shit good enough to make it look broken. Game 2, Strat Game versus Segos. Oh my god, we get Mother of Stinky. Okay. Let's go. Let's just go. That's all I want to cast today is broken shit. No. So I'm salty about Mama O. I was playing in a game, in a tournament, and my opponent, great guy, not trying to flame him at all. He did great, but we played Kislev versus Greenskins, and literally how the game went is I ran over his entire army except for Mama O and one heavy war sled. Literally killed all of them. Army losses was almost hitting, and Mama O got 5,000 damage value as I just couldn't fucking kill her. I just fed Boarboy Biggin after Boarboy Biggin into her, popping Was, popping Wurzeg's buffs for them, healing them. She killed all of them with her fucking bear sleds, and it's because her model's broken. So they'd surround her and they'd have a jillion melee attack, and she'd have 32 melee defense, and she wouldn't take any damage, but she'd fire her stupid projectiles at point blank range and just kill them while they just T-posed on her because they're like, error 404, hitbox not found. And I'm like, I know there's no hitbox, but you do have to try and hit her. And they're like, nah. So my whole army died over the course of 13 minutes because we literally couldn't even swing at this dumb bitch. Oh, it's so fucking stupid. Patch 4.1 where? What makes Mama's Thank Yous broken? She has infinite healing with her Goulias, which Segos didn't bring, so I can't show you. And then she has a decent spell kit, but mostly it's being an armor-piercing, high missile strength chariot with a ton of magical ammunition and a broken hitbox so that you suffer way less damage in melee than you think you would. Like, you know the problem with War Wagons? She's the War Wagon Lord. Like, every single problem, copy-paste from War Wagons onto Mother Ostankia, and then give the War Wagons spellcasting, the fact that they're your lord, so if you don't snipe it, they don't take a leadership spike, and give them infinite healing. And it's like, I don't see how that could be broken at all. I don't see any problems with this. Let's put it behind a $25 DLC and make some money off people that just want to play a video game. Anyway, for this matchup, Kislev versus Bretonnia, we have a very strange build. 4 Costified Dervishes, 4 Horse Archers, which are just Costified Dervishes with a 360 range attack. Mama O, with only Flock of Doom, no healing for her. The Oath Brothers of Tor paired up with a Patriarch for his healing. And then we also have the Mordheim Beowulfs, which are really, really good into Bretonnia because they reduce your healing received by 100%. So you can't regrowth something that's being attacked by them. We also have the Incarnate Elemental Beasts and the Wolfheart Akshina Ambusher Regiment of Renown there. It's not her actual issue, Patrick. It is one of her issues because in my Greenskin game that took 13 minutes of just grinding against this lady. The game wasn't 13 minutes. It was 13 minutes since she was the last thing on the field. And she just kept casting Goulias and healing herself up. It was awful. It was awful. Anyway, for Bretonnia, a bunch of Spearmen-at-Arms and Men-at-Arms, a whole lot of archers, 5 of them. And then we have 3 Knights of the Realm and a Grail Knight with Alberic de Bordelot. 4 Knights of the Realm and a Grail Knight. Alberic de Bordelot as the Lord, he does give AoE bonus versus large and leadership. And then I assume there's a life mage somewhere. There she is with regrowth. Good old regrowth. Yes. Patrick, if you're ranking things, her healing is one of her least problematic things, but it is still problematic. And they did real good damage. Yeah. That heal also restores vigor. Yeah. Peasant Bowmen firing back against the Skirmish Cav of Kislev, and in general, Skirmish Cav are countered by Foot Archers. So Segos is going to have a hard time. He's going to have to fall back. And I actually wonder what he is going to do about this. Looks like we're going to have some Suicide Dervishes running in. And with Peasant Bowman's super low leadership and stats in general, Costified Dervishes could do enough shock damage to just shatter them or something. But these guys aren't coming home. They're going to have to pop our Buy Our Blood passive and keep fighting to the very end. Just trying to take out the Peasant Archers. If they can kill all of the archers, then the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts might be able to carry this game paired with the Oath Brothers of Tor. Worst Cav versus one of the best lords? Eh. I have no idea, Cyrus. Anyway, Costified Dervish suicides are ongoing. One peasant bowman has routed but not shattered, so he will come back, and the other two are just fine. More dervishes are trying to suicide in now. These are the horse archer variant, but they're just being used as melee cav. More dervishes in the distance, also not committing. I find this interesting. I'm trying to think through what the purpose behind it is, but I'm surprised Segos didn't go all in. Like, we have some dervishes just fucking around. That one's in position to kill off some peasant bowmen, but I don't know what that one's gonna do. The one way over there. More bowmen taking charges, but they're not taking enough damage to justify it. So currently, Strat Game is getting much better trades out of this. Unfortunately for ye old Kislev, and even these dervishes are going to try and dive other peasant bowmen, but they're just going to get intercepted by Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights. They are going to get slapped down, and the peasant bowmen are all going to rally and be just fine. Not a good start for Kislev here. Bretonnia is feeling fancy and fine. As Grail Knights crush those Costified Dervishes, like we said, and more horse archers. They're getting fed one by one, though. They're getting fed into the grinder, but like they're not all showing up at the same time. So these Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights are easily able to just bounce from one fight to the other fight to the other fight to the other fight and keep killing stuff off rather than being pressured to actually be somewhere else. So yeah, a really tough start here for Kislev. Because if all these archers are still alive, which so far they are, if all these archers are still alive in the late game, you're just going to get to the Oath Brothers of Tor getting pin cushioned by them all. The Incarnate Elemental Beasts will be surrounded by Grail Knights. And while it'll drain down the Grail Knights will still do good damage to it. And it's getting shot in the meantime. Mama O's trying to fire in, but the horse archers are all getting shattered or flat out killed. There's one horse archer left. Nope, two. Two horse archers left. And out of the 5 or 6 starting archers, I forget, we still have 5 who are doing just fine. Akshin ambushers firing in onto random peasants. It's good damage. It's free damage. I extremely doubt they'll run out of ammunition this game. Now with the Bretonians having such a cavalry advantage, it's going to be very hard to keep the Akshin ambushers online after the fight starts in earnest. Strat and his Grail Knights are chasing down random horse archers. Knights of the Realm are trying to get ahead of them enough that they can get a side charge in without falling behind, but it looks like the horse archers should stay ahead. Oops. Little missed micro problem. They turned into a bit of that blob. It looked like they were trying to go back for Jeffrey and took some damage, so their Buyer Blood passive is popped. Mama O has been cycle charging through the front line, doing a lot of damage to peasants, but Bretonnia is fine with that. They don't care about their peasants. Bretonnia is up about 2-1 on damage value so far. And of the 8 Costified Dervishes that started this game, 1.5 are still alive. The blob of Kislev awaits. And the pack trap is cast on Knights of the Realm. Akshin Ambusher is going to get off one good volley, but it's not onto the Grail Knights. And I wonder if there's a counter regrowth. It doesn't look like there's going to be a regrowth in time, so the Knights of the Realm might actually lose some models. Maybe the regrowth is being saved for the Grail Knights, who have taken a surprising amount of damage. A Flock of Doom is following them a little bit, but Horse Archer's got a counter charge. And yeah, I mean, even at that damage value, you might want to undercast a regrowth on them rather than overcast a regrowth onto a random Knight of the Realm. Not saying you should undercast a regrowth, I'm just saying I don't think you should overcast regrowth on these guys. It looks like he's not going to, so that's fine. One horse archer might rally before hitting the edge of the map. The other one has 0 ammunition, so it's now just a slightly worse Costified Dervish. The Akshin ambushers are in range of peasant bowmen. We'll see if they even get shot, but Knights of the Realm are going to charge back into them with nothing left to defend them whatsoever. Grail Knights also closing in, so if these horse archers try and suicide to keep the Akshina alive, they are just going to die. Actually, the Grail Knights are going after Mama O. We'll see if they can get damage. It's 50-50 on whether or not they can even swing at her, but if they can, they'll deal damage. And they're trying. They're trying to deal damage. Do you maybe see what I was just talking about? Maybe the part where I said I surrounded her with Orc Boy Biggins, gave him all the buffs in the world, didn't matter? Maybe that part, the part I was just talking about? Hey, did that just happen? That just happened again in real time? You want to tell me how your fucking Cold One Spear Riders killed her? Well, most of the time that shit just happens. She gets surrounded by cav and just rolls out of there, taking 0 damage because it's not a fucking problem. Because it's not a fucking problem to have 360 shooting, armor-piercing, infinite ammunition, self-healing motherfuckers rolling around without a fucking hitbox. That's fine. That's a fine thing to have in your game constantly. That's totally chill. Super cool. Fuck this character. Fuck Kairos too. All right. Alberic de Bordelot goes into the big fight. His Knights of the Realm gonna help him out. They killed her? They didn't kill nothing! She's full health! She's fine! Anyway, Alberic is fighting it out with the lads. He's got Grail Knights in here. They are taking a Flock of Doom. And now they have that Dark Blood Taint, so they can't heal whatsoever. If he casts a Regrowth onto this unit, it is Winds of Magic entirely wasted. So he's going to need to back off before he casts the Regrowth, but they are taking so much damage as the archers are pouring in fire. Now the Mordheim Beowulfs are pushed off, meaning their debuff has worn off. The Grail Knights can get healing now, and they really desperately need it. I haven't seen any healing come in from the Damsel Wife at all, so she has to get her shit together and start casting. Bretonnia is doing all right, though. Like we said, the Archer Conclave is doing so much work. It is killing so many things and whatever. I think the only mistake Bretonnia has made this game at all is they're being very tight-lipped about their healing, which they need to hurry up and start using some of it, because that's actually becoming a really big problem. The Archers are taken out by the Oath Brothers of Tor. There is the healing at last for the Grail Knights. Alberic's taking a lot of damage, though he does have to opt out. Bretonnia needs to slow this down. They're getting a little too antsy. Their archers are firing. That's great. They need to feed Knights one at a time into the blob fight and just buy the archers some space, buy themselves some time for more regrowths to come out for Alberic and some of the other Knights. They're getting a little ahead of themselves. The Oath Brothers of Tor are going to rout at last, and there goes all of the multi-entity models leaving Kislev just with their single entities. Now, as I say that, they have some rallying forces, but if Knights of the Realm see them, they should be able to sweep up those guys easily enough. Number one problem with Mama's Thank You is you bought her DLC. To be fair, I got it for free, because they wanted me to make content on it, and none of that content ended up being positive. Alright, single entities all getting routed off. Patriarch is at half HP. Now he'll keep healing himself up, yada yada, but Patriarchs on their own really aren't that impressive of combatants. Auction Ambusher is about to get run down. I wonder if they get out a pack trap real quick before routing. They do not, so they are gone. Mama O is still sprinting through a whole bunch of peasant archers, and she has 2,700 value. Anybody want to explain how she's balanced to me right now? Any more Mama O defenders in the chat just saying that this is fine, that this is totally normal and cool? Anyway, another Flock of Doom is out. Alberic dives back in to give his Grail Knights even better stats to really try and wear down this Incarnate Elemental Beast, but they're getting just nothing done with it. They're doing a lot of damage to the Patriarch, and maybe if they can take him out, then there's no healing for the Incarnate. There's also no healing for Mama O because she didn't bring her Ghoulias. Ghoulias. Overcaster Regrowth trying to heal cap the Grail Knights who are shrekking down the Patriarch. His Buyer Blood passive is popped. That can't save you from death. And he's dead. Grail Knights trying to charge into Mama O. 32 melee defense, and being a large character, they should do a lot of damage to her, but should doesn't mean a lot these days as they just follow her around. Unable to actually complete a charge. Alberic even tries to land. Flock of Doom is going to hit them all, but Alberic's following her around. He does get a big shot onto her. And archers are back to piling arrows into the Incarnate Elemental Beasts. Strat game is down on the balance of power while being 4,000 damage value ahead. Have we seen this before, ladies and gentlemen? Have we seen a Broken Lord trying to solo carry a fucking game 4,000 damage value down? Kislev charges in. Grail Knight's going to break up the mass, but the Incarnate Elemental Beast is charging into their rear, getting good damage off, getting good draining down, and the Grail Knights, like we said, are heal capped. There's nothing more that can be done for them. Alberic is getting pushed off. He's going to need the next regrowth, but for now, he does manage to avoid routing. And the Oath Brothers of Tor are routed yet again. One more rout and they will shatter, as the Mordheim Balefiends just did. We are pretty much officially down to Mama O. and the Incarnate. Now, thankfully, she didn't bring Goulias. There's no healing left for her in any capacity. There's a big regrowth for Alberic. And Mama O still has 11 shots left. Big shot from her up the hill. Misses everything entirely, unfortunately, for Kislev. Strat's rallying some forces. He has a bunch of random spears left, but they won't amount to anything this game. He has some Grail Knights, Alberic, 3 archers, and that's about it, as the Knights of the Realm are getting run off by Mama O. I honestly think Brett is in serious trouble. He's got to spread the archers, most likely. He can't have all 3 of them together like this, because then the Incarnate can just dive into one, and it'll disrupt and drain down the other 2. And her Flock of Dooms will hit everything all at once. So he's going to have to separate those archers. Form a bit of a conclave. But I actually think Mama is going to carry this unless Alberic can hit her. But that is a big if. If you've 1v1 Mama before, sometimes you'll kill her like you should, considering her melee stats, and sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just get rocked, and that's the way it goes. She is wildly inconsistent as a melee combatant. 7 ammunition left for her, and that is also another big part of her dueling, is if she has ammo, because she'll be in melee with you and still fire it right in your face, and then she won't miss, so she does a lot of damage. If she's out of ammo when the duel occurs, then she's considerably less dangerous. Damn, this is a super competitive game. It is. So was the last one. Alberic lands right on her, and she's still firing up at random peasants, though it's super hard to control what she shoots at. 5 volleys left for her. And she has plenty of Flock of Dooms, I imagine. Getting a text, I'm going to see if it's important while these players both reform lines. Alberic's trying to get another charge in. We'll see if it even matters. Nice big hit. So far, that's going great. That is unironically going great for Bretonnia. These last few charges have actually hit, and that's fine. Oh, but that's another thing to worry about. Your only powerful thing left is Alberic, who's a large combatant versus an Incarnate Elemental of Beasts. If the Incarnate babysits Mother O, then Alberic can't keep landing and shit like he is. Alright, a little bit of poke damage from her. Incarnate's trying to dodge on its way up. 3 ammunition left for Mama O, and she is about to charge through some archers. She's trying to do some disruption. But again, she's really isolating herself from the Incarnate. And I know it's tough decisions. Nice Flock of Doom. Hits 2 very important targets. I know it's tough decisions, but she is isolating herself from her protector, and Alberic is getting huge shots onto her right now. She gets caught up. Alberic is going to get a nice shot out soon, but here comes a nasty cast from the Oath Brothers Tor, going to lower Alberic's stats, which make him much more hittable, and the Incarnate pushes him away, but it's taking a lot of damage from these archers in the distance. Grail Knights shatter. Alberic misses a charge, and they're just going to go try and rout all of the peasants away. Another archer shatters. The Incarnate Elemental Beast is going gangbusters right now, and Alberic's chasing after him. I wonder if there's another regrowth. Alberic might be able to solo carry this, and considering the regrowths we saw in the early game, I actually do think there's probably another one in the tank for him, so I don't think Bretonnia's out of this just yet, but it's close. As all these peasants are shattering quickly, Alberic is running out of time. Incarnate Elemental Beast gets a huge shot onto him. If there is that regrowth, he's going to need it now. Nice shot onto the Incarnate. The Incarnate's fighting back. It has very impressive stats, and his melee defense is very low. Mama O and the Incarnate are just taking the fight now, and I'm not seeing a regrowth yet. And with these few units on the board, you have to think that it's not a micro mistake, as Alberic gets his shit kicked in, and if he routs or just dies, Kislev wins. And at 5,000 damage value ahead, Bretonnia is dangerously far down in this game. I think they have lost. Once again, unless there is a regrowth. But that damsel would have left this fight by now. She would have cast that regrowth. Once again, Strat is a very good player, and it's not like he's just sitting on a regrowth and not casting it for shits and giggles. So he must not have the Winds of Magic. I don't know where the regrowths went. I know 2 went into the Bretonnia Knights, but I guess there was a 3rd one I didn't see. She routes off. The Incarnate Elemental Beast has kicked some serious ass. Alberic's trying to rally in the distance, but the only thing on the map right now for Bretonnia is this 0 leadership Peasant Archer and a 7 leadership Man-at-Arms downhill from a Chariot Lord who is going to just run it down. The Incarnate sees the damsel came back. Looks like he's going to go take a fight with her. And there go the Peasant Bowmen once again. Alberic has returned. She is out of ammunition. She's chasing down archers and men-at-arms right now. Incarnate Elemental Beasts is not going to take the fight with the damsel and Alberic, and this does buy time in case, again, I keep saying it, but it literally is the defining moment of the game. If there is another regrowth, undercasted or overcasted, Alberic can carry. He can kill the Incarnate in 2 hits, and then, without ammunition, Mama can't beat him. But hey, you keep talking about that heal isn't that strong. Every 2 minutes, she heals 1% or whatever. She would have cast that shit 8 times by now. She would be perfect vigor. She would be fresh rather than exhausted. And she would be healed up quite a bit. Just saying. Because this is very similar to my Greenskin game. I killed the whole fucking army, but then Mama O and 1 heavy war sled just sat there and tanked all my shit all day. It sucked ass. She's currently at about 4,000 damage value. Will the next patch have 3 balanced lords? I don't know. But if they are broken, I'm going to be much more aggressive about just flat out banning it. Again, I'm a part of a team, so I have to ask the team, but that'd be my position on it at least. They're running down these extra guys. Alberic and the lads are just trying to keep their shit together. Trying to get their vigor back, which is actually a pretty good time for them. So they can get nice and healthy. Kislev's trying to shatter the men-at-arms. I don't know why they're stalling. You think that they would just want to turn around and charge these guys. Because these men-at-arms, if they even come back, they're not going to be a big deal whatsoever. So I don't know why they're doing this, because it's not like they're healing or anything. If they had Goulias, that would make sense, but... Right now, you're just letting Alberic and his boys get vigor back. Mamo and the Incarnate coming in. There's not been a regrowth, so there will not be one. I don't know if Alberic can even hang on leadership-wise, but if he can somehow get a rear attack onto the Incarnate and then get a second one, he can kill it off. But Mama O can finish him even. She can kill him in 2 hits. So I don't know. Without that extra healing, he's just doomed. He gets a big land. He misses his charge attack. He hits the second one, but it is too late. Alberic dies, and without him, terror out from the men-at-arms. Without the men-at-arms, terror out from her, and that is the end of the game. Yay, Murica? Murica lost. What are you talking about? Murica lost. We're down 0-2. Alberic, 2,200 value. Grail Knights, 3,500. And they got heal capped. Knights of the Realm also did pretty well. Peasant Bowmen got pretty good value. And the Men-at-Arms got crushed. On the other side, Mama O, 4,000 damage value. For a caster ranged Chariot Lord. 4,000 value for the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts. 1,500 and 400 for the Oath Brothers of Tor and the Patriarch. And then everything else really struggled to get its value. The Kosovite Dervishes were chucked to the wayside. So GG. Thought Sagos was Polish? He is. Strat was the NA player there. Alright, what's next? High Elves of Black Knight versus Azrael of Astora. And it looks like they're right in a lobby there, so I'll hop in. All right. We're in. HDS is here. Game 3, Azrael Vestor on Lizardmen versus Black Knight and his High Elves. Can NA get on the board? $11 in total, yes. First team to 6 wins. Some of the games have already been played. We'll cast live games until those are all done. Then we have replays we'll go through. For some players that played ahead of time due to not being able to be here today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 of the 11 games as replays in my folder right now. So we'll cast 6 live. All right. Boop. We'll cast all 11 games, but yes, as people are talking about in chat, it is a best of 11 in a way. So all 11 games are going to get played, but if one team hits 6th, then they have won it. Blocker? I got it. We're still loading in. The High Elves are the NA player. I should make that a little more clear, I guess, because they're switching sides depending on who's hosting. We have Ogres Pride, the Warlion of Krace, Regiment of Renown, a single Dragon Prince. No, 2 Dragon Princes. I thought I saw behind the blocker 4 Illyrian Reavers, but it looks like he cut them. So 2 Dragon Princes, no Illyrian Reavers, 4 Archers, and then a whole bunch of Spearmen with 1 Silvern Guard. Okay, I was going to say, you can't have 6 Spearmen. What are you doing? We have a Earthblood caster with no regrowth, just Earthblood, and Imric up in the sky. Black Knight was playing Imric before it was meta, so now that he is meta, Black Knight's just living his best life. On the other side for Azrael Vestora and the Lizardmen, we have 5 skink cohorts with javelins, 3 feral cold ones, the cohort of Waddle, Sacred Crocscore, Regiment of Renown, Colosson Hunters, and other Ripperdactyls. And then we have the thunderous one, Ancient Stegadon. I haven't seen that boy for a while. And then Lord Mazdamundi on Zlak with Apotheosis, Net of Amatog, and the Ruination of Cities. Interesting. I have been playing this matchup a lot recently. It's just kind of my default into Bretonnia, but he's facing High Elves, so now this thought's trailing off into nowhere. Never mind. I was going to say I've been playing this a lot versus Bretonnia, and I take a bunch of Crocsagores and Mazdamundi with Ruination of Cities and Banishment, and I cast my bound spells on the Archers, and the Crocsagores kill the Cav. But he's not facing Bretonnia, so my analysis is moot, and everything sucks. GG. G fucking G. I think this high elf build's going to be fine. I'm actually very concerned about the Lizardman build. 5 Jab Skinks is okay. It'll harass Imric, but melee-wise, you're not getting through these Silver Guard or Spearmen ever. And then Crocsagores / Feral Coldwins are just going to die to the Spearmen. So the front line of the High Elves is vastly superior. It's going to win. The problem with that for the Lizards... Alright, sorry. The tournament organizer was asking me something, so it was kind of important that I respond. The problem with that for the Lizardmen is it's like, okay, our front line's not going to get through their front line, but the traditional counterpoint is, but our ranged will shoot. No, it won't. The High Elves have 4 Archers, you have none. You have some hybrid-ass Jav throwers, but like, so the High Elves front line is better, and it's defending superior ranged. So the High Elves are chilling. And you're like, okay, well then the Lizardmen must have better cavalry. No, they have 3 dog-shit-ass feral cold ones. The enemy has 2 Dragon Princes and Rahagor's Pride. They're going to be fine. You're like, oh, well, Hume Boy, that sounds like a lot of negative shit. What do the Lizardmen have? That's why I'm worried, dear chat. The Lizardmen have Mazdamundi and the Thunderous One, is pretty much the only advantage they have. Because I would take 2 Dragon Princes, Rahagras Pride, over 2 Ripperdactyls and 3 Feral Cold Ones, personally. Especially with a bunch of Spear and Archer support. The Spear and Archer support is pretty critical to that analysis. But Imric versus 2 single entities, sure, if he lands his dumbass in between the 2 of them, they get to 2v1 him, he'll lose. But he's a flying character and they're stuck on the ground, so he is able to pick fights as he wants to. And he can kill them both on his own. So if Azrael wins, then I think Azrael played great and deserves all the props, because looking at these builds, I think the High Elves have a significant advantage. Will you join the single army thing? Maybe I have not. Sorry. Again, the tournament organizer, so that takes priority. If this stream is entirely done, then I might join it, but otherwise, I mean, I'll be streaming while it starts, and it's just not nice to join a tournament late like that. I will be sending viewers over to that stream. I have it pulled up. And I'll talk about it more at the time. Anyway, the fight is on, so let's just talk about what's in front of us. Nice ruination of cities between 2 archers, so if you get lucky curves... Look at that! Oh! Hit the Dragon Princes too, but just deletes the archers. Goodbye, 1 archer. Good cast from Mazdamundi, good RNG too, but it was also a good cast. I liked where it was placed, because then if the RNG went one way or the other, it would still hit archers. The only way it could get fucked if it went hard right and hard left, but not up or down at all. Which it didn't, so he's fine. Spearman front line is holding. The Thunderous One and Mazdamundi are wandering at their leisure, which we expected, but Imric is probably going to be hunting them down as time permits. But actually, the Colossadon Hunters are taking a fight with Imric on top of Spears. If these Spears stop chasing Skinks and they turn around to come fight the Colossadon Hunters, that would be a terrible trade for Lizardmen. Looks like Azrael noticed that and gets away as fast as he can. 3 of the archers are still online. Rahagras Pride going to use their roar to get rid of the Feral Cold Ones. Now you have Dragon Princes and Rahagras Pride fighting against the Horde of Waddle and both of the single entities for Lizardmen. But the Dragon Princes are trying to get some separation. They know they need to be ready to respond to these Colossadon Hunters, and they are going to. They also just don't really want to fight the big dinos. They want to leave that to Imric. Spears are still holding. Other Spears are offering support to these fights. And once again, Imric is in, but he's actually just landing on the Colossadon Hunters, using Lord of Dragons to lower their stats enough that the Dragon Princes should just smoke these guys, and all of the Spearmen that are nearby are also going to do great. Now, Azrael is up on damage value right now, and wow, those High Elf archers actually rallied. I'm kind of surprised they didn't shatter. Okay, but this is a disastrous moment for the Lizardmen. Colossadon Hunters are already routing, and their other Ripperdactyls are taking a lot of damage. And the High Elves are just kiting back, and they're kiting back, and they're kiting back. Their archers are trying to stay as healthy as possible. Rahagras Pride are going after rampaging Feral Cold Ones, but Black Knight's playing this really well. I like it a lot. I don't think Azrael's fucking up, but as I literally mentioned at the start, I feel like if both players play at similar calibers, I think the High Elves are going to win. So, as long as the High Elves are playing well, I think they're extremely advantaged here. Rahagras Pride still trying to distract and annoy the Feral Cold Ones and the Sacred Cohort of Huatl while these archers continue to fall back. But Spearmen are poking down other things. Skinks are slowly getting pushed off. And Imric has taken care of most of the other flyers. The Ripperdactyls are both really feeling the burn. Overcasted Earthblood was thrown out onto Rahagras Pride and some of the archers, trying to keep them up while these other archers fire in. Skinks are about to rout, especially if Rahagras get their roar off once again. And a big pile of spears is going to get hit with a banishment, it looks like, or is that the ruination? It's ruination. Near. Not nearly as good of RNG on that one. Still does decent damage due to good placement, but it's not going to curve back into the spearmen, so it doesn't do double damage or anything like that. And more archers are still holding on. Rahagras Pride able to terror out off those Skinks with the help of a mighty dragon in Imric. And there's a net onto Imric. It looks like the dinos are going to try and take a fight with him. Maybe the Cohort of Waddle can even surround him, but I doubt that's really going to get too much done. We still have Dragon Princes in the area that can countercharge, and Imric is a tanky boy. Lizardmen running out of support as their Ripperdactyls rout yet again. Their Feral Cold Ones are all going to rout as well. We barely have any Skinks left in the fight, and the High Elves are just a pile of healing and spears. Azrael has not let these archers do anything, though. That's pretty great. Like, these ones have been shooting the whole game, and they're doing okay, but I mean, after he almost deleted them, I can understand why he's focusing more on the ones that actually have HP. The Lizardmen are driving the High Elves to the edge of the map. If they can route them, they'll take the High Elves straight off, but it looks much more likely that the Lizardmen will be the ones routing. Colossus Hunters are back for the final time if they route once more. If he routes once more. It's a singular Colossus Hunter. If he routes one more time, he'll shatter. There he goes. And now you're going to see exactly what we were talking about. If Imric gets to pick his fights against the Thunderous One and the Mazda Mundi, he can kill them both over time. He just needs to be careful about it. Now, I do say be careful about it, and he is fighting right against the cohort of Waddle. But he has Silver and Guard supporting him, so I think he's daring them to take that fight with him. This is a nice counterplay, though. Good net of Ambertalk locks the Dragon Princes in place. So they take a free charge from Mazda and the cohort. Going to take a lot of damage, and as we mentioned, this whole fight has been pushed and pushed closer to the edge of the map. So if the Dragon Princes get routed, they will run straight off. But Imric's here to offer support, and there are a lot of Spearmen. Elves pulling ahead on the balance of power, wrapping up some more skinks in the distance. And I think NA will get on the board. I think. Ripperdactyls maybe cleaning up the archers, though the Dragonhorn saved them. Giving them fear helped their leadership a lot, and the extra stats help them beat the Ripperdactyl riders. And then the Ogres Pride are going to get rid of these skinks over here, and it'll come down to just the two single entities and a very, very wounded cohort of Waddle. Any archers that exist should all focus on the cohort. Let Imric deal with the single entities. Black Knight's taking it slow. Damage value is very even. Balance of power is wildly in favor of the High Elves, and I'm inclined to agree. Another Apotheosis trying to heal up the cohort of Waddle, and they are going to surround Imric, but he still has these Silver and Guard who have been doggedly pursuing him this entire game, so they are here for support. They could poke down those Kroxigors, and he even gets an Earthblood to heal them all up. More Spears surrounding Mazda Mundi, who is sniping out the Mage of Life. Really good pick for Azrael right there. You'll love to see it. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Hi, Lil Trail. I'm glad you could join us at all, buddy. Another net onto Imric to lock him in place, but there is no follow-up. There's no punishment here. Dragon Princes could sweep up the last of these skinks while Ogres Pride and the Spearmen rejoin the effort. Archers are all firing at Mazda Mundi, which again I think is a little cautious, a little optimistic, sorry. Because he's 130 armor. He has missile-resistant healing. They really need to be focusing down the Kroxigors because you can actually kill specific models outright and really force their healing onto the same target. Spreading out your damage versus healing is one of the worst things you can do. You just want to heal cap something and then kill it outright, rather than like kind of damage a lot of things and then they can spread their healing as well. Mazda has removed the healer. She is going to route straight off the map most likely, but Imric's here. He's going to punish Mazda Mundi very heavily for his transgressions, while the cohort of Waddle will get countercharged by Ogres Pride and Dragon Princes. They'll take a lot of damage, and the Thunderous One will not be able to carry this game alone, but yeah. Like, look at how Imric can 1v1 Mazda. Mazda's not even trying to fight him. He has 0 melee attack and 8 melee defense due to Lord of Dragons. It's just not going to work for the poor big toad. Thunderous One trying to help out the cohort of Waddle, and it will. It'll probably even tear out Rahagras Pride here in just a second. But it's not going to be enough as Mazda is pushed off the battlefield. He's following the Mage of Life, so he's just trying to make sure the High Elves can't have a healer. And if he can get the Mage off the battlefield, that'll spike the balance power up enough that he can stay in this game, because otherwise army losses is danger close. But Imric can solo carry at this point. Even the cohort of Waddle are too low for us to really care. I don't know why the High Elves are running these archers away. They're never going to escape from the cohort of Waddle, so they might as well just stand and shoot. Maybe he's trying to just waste their time. Looks like that does end up being the case. He just wanted to waste their time even if he can't shoot. Other archers are firing into them, and Mazda, while successfully getting the mage off the battlefield, is now surrounded by Dragon Princes and Imric. And if he takes, I'm going to say, one shot from Imric, army losses hits. Hey, I was right! I'm the greatest! GG. High Elves and Black Knight put NA on the board. In another pretty close game. A lot of pretty close games today. Both of the big dinos did pretty darn well. Ripperdactyls got torn apart, unfortunately. And the Sacred Core of Waddle did all right, though they got a lot of healing. Imric, 3,000 value. Very good stuff from him. Dragon Princes struggled a bit to get their value back. Rahagras Pride did all right. Archers did all right. Healcaster did fine. And a whole lot of Spears did a whole lot of fine. GG. NA is on the board. Let me find out where I'm going here. Looks like I am going to Sipa versus AC Maiden. Sipa is a player that entered our scene relatively recently, but clearly is not new. Either that or just improved very quickly. I would already consider him a better player than myself on average. If we played 10 games, I would expect to win 4. So he's very good. AC Maiden, longtime member of the community, has taken several vacations. I believe he's on retirement count number 3. He's no pushover. Every time he comes back, he also still looks really solid. The matchup is Khorne versus Bretonnia. Oof. I have to think that's probably Bretonnia favored. I know some people have been cooking up things to make it good for Khorne. And Khorne has some teeth in this matchup. But I don't know, man. Whenever I've tried this matchup as Bretonnia, and I always just get my... as Khorne, and I always get my shit rolled. So, we'll see. We'll see. Who am I rooting for? What are the factions? Sipa and Bretonnia would be the East Jerks Losers representative. And Valkyria the Bloody with AC Maiden would be the West Best Bastes representatives. How are the boys doing? We're 1-2 right now, though my hard copium, the hard copium is games 1 and 2 was Broken Lord hard carries games. Because that shit was redonkulous, Floof. You missed Mother Ostankia getting 4,000 damage value versus Strats Bretonnia, and you missed Kairos Fateweaver heel capping 3 different Chaos Knights of Tzeentch against Blood Penguin's Empire, and then overcasting a regrowth on himself to cause army losses. And I'm a little tilted. But Black Knight bringing it back, taking us to 1-2. Both the EU wins were really close. I think even the third game was pretty close. It was the least close of the 3, but it's like the global scale of games, I think it was pretty close. Azrael killed off his the High Elf caster. Killed off most of their archers, was running stuff down. The Dragon Princes weren't feeling too good. Like, it was just a very healthy Imrik and some spears, which was plenty to close it out, but I don't think it was a stomp. I don't think it was a stomp at all. Strat with a $10 donation. $10 from a 10 out of 10 tilt right now. I feel you, buddy. I got tilted just watching it. I wasn't even playing. But not really, really close, yeah. All right. For the builds for Sipa and Bretonnia and Europe, we have 3 mounted yeoman archers, including the Wardens of Montfort mounted yeoman archers with better stats and poison. We have a Grail Knight, 2 Grail Knights, Royal Hippo Knights, Llewellyn, and the Damsel of Life with Flesh to Stone and Earthblood. A front line of peasant mobs, a secondary line of men-at-arms polearms. No archers. I wonder if you even want peasant mobs versus Khorne, because they're not going to hold, but they are going to feed Khorne free kills for their army passive. I wonder if you just don't go with them at all. All right. Anyway. On the side of Khorne, we have 4 Chaos Warhounds of Khorne. None of them are the Flesh Hounds. They're just the Frenzy, regular Mortal Hounds. Looks like they were trying to run down archers, but then there are no archers to speak of. We have 3 Minotaurs of Khorne with Great Opens. Valkia the Bloody with her Spear Sleipnir. 2 Chaos Warriors of Khorne. 3 Chaos Warriors of Khorne with Halberds. And double Skull Cannon. Alright, let's see how this goes. I actually really like this Khorne build's composition after seeing the Bretonnian build. Because the Spear Sleipnir can take out 2 out of 3 of the only peasant infantry that matters, and then you're just stuck with Bretonnia with a bunch of expensive cav and no chaff against a lot of halberds and stuff. Yeah, I think Khorne can actually take this for sure. I don't think it's free, but I do think Khorne can take this. Skull Cannons pushing back one of the Mounted Yeoman Archers, already taking them to half HP. As more Skull Cannon shots rip through them. And Mino's taking a bit of skirmishing. Chaos Warhounds getting caught out by Royal Hippogriff Knights. They are going to have to try and find a way to loop back to their own forces. But it looks like they're just going to ignore it for now. Try and get out here. As the Skull Cannons rout both of the Mounted Yeoman Archers. Because the Chaos Warhounds charging up is enough to rout them. Yeah, they're gone. So 2 out of the 3 skirmish cav are already routing. Looks like the dogs are going to think about chasing them. They have to be careful. They're going to get countercharged by Grail Knights, which isn't worth it if they just flat out die. And Valkia is in the sky. Sword of Cronus popped. She's surrounded by Royal Hippogriff Knights. She does not have her Demon Shield to mitigate any of this damage. So she is just getting worked on. She's not trying to run away at all. I have no idea why she's taking that fight. Anyway, Dog's getting chased off by Grail Knights. Skull Cannon's now firing at Grail Knights. And Valkia is just getting killed completely for free. Now she's starting to run and land and dodge. But Terror Route's going to take her. And that is a huge loss for Khorne in what was a really good early game for them so far. But Valkia getting sniped out does kind of bring us back to even. And Dogs are going to get run down. Now, Grail Knights have taken a lot of damage from these Skull Cannons, man. A lot. Black Knight with the $10 from Canada. Thanks to the streaming dedication, brother. Anytime. Black Knight, anytime. Thank you for the first win for NA. Did the audio break? Back to even. And Dogs are going to get... No, I can hear it just fine. There, maybe that helps. Anyway, what are we doing? What's happening? I got distracted making sure that the mic didn't go down or something. Chaos Warhounds did largely escape the Bretonnian charge. That one took half health, but otherwise we're doing okay. And for Bretonnia, 2 of their skirmish cav is half HP, a Grail Knight is half HP, and, ooh, critically they've lost a lot of models. Grail Knights are at 29 models out of 48, which means even a regrowth can't heal them up. Which, I guess he only brought Earthblood, but still, it's not like it's going to bring models back from the dead. Crap, I hasn't peeked out his mic in a while. True. I did change some settings, so it won't peek out much. Yeah, I upped the in-game volume, but I can hear these guys just fine on my end. Sipa's still trying to kite it out, and even after losing 3/4 of Valkia's HP, Maiden is still up about 500 damage value. And a Spear Sleipnir is ambitiously thrown out for the Grail Knights. Gets a little bit of poke, but I actually would have preferred that be safe to just kill off these Men-at-Arms polearms for free. Skull Cannons are out of ammunition. They'll need to get into melee with peasant mobs to recharge some more. And Khorne is slowly advancing up. They're still getting skirmish poked a bit, but they don't really seem to mind too much. Skirmish cav's at half ammo, and 2/3. Skull Cannons are in, trying to get some of that ammo back. They're daring Grail Knights to charge them so that Minotaurs can get a counter charge full free. Meanwhile, Halberds lumber into melee combat. Here come the Grail Knights, though. They have accepted the challenge. The Skull Cannons do have to fall back. Dogs are also charging in, and they're going to tear through peasant mobs rather quickly and get those kills rather quickly, crucially, to give, like I said, give Khorne that extra army passive. Grail Knights aren't feeling the love at the moment, and Skull Cannon is trying to fire at close range into a blob of Grail Knights. If they get their shots off, that'll actually do significant damage. There goes one. It actually gets decent damage, but the other one gets distracted by melee once again. Another Grail Knight is in. Flesh to Stone, Overcast gives them 60% physical resistance. But so far, the Minotaurs aren't taking the bait. It's just Halberds slowly walking in as dogs continue to pressure the Bretonnian flanks. One Chaos Warhound is pushed off. We have a Grail Knight that's at 1/3 HP, a Royal Hippogriff Knight that's also taking some damage, and Lewin is not yet committed to a fight. Skull Cannons plus dogs are pushing through a lot of peasants, getting ammo back for those Skull Cannons so they can once again start firing elsewhere. And Valkia is once again under attack by Lewin. There are Halberds and Minos nearby. Do they turn and help her? Do they even care? It looks like they might just accept Valkia dying and continue to press on. No, some stuff's turning around to try and help her now. But Lewin's whooped her ass. He's gotten 2 hits in. Horn of Khorne is popped. Should be able to get through Lewin's stats. He is just sitting on halberds right now. For Bretonnia, their skirmish cav is still doing okay. Grail Knights are once again back into the fight. And then, man, one of the Minotaurs of Khorne got worked down. We still have 2 healthy Minotaurs, 2 healthy Skull Cannons, some tattered dogs, and a bunch of halberds left for Khorne. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a half-health Grail Knight, a very wounded Royal Hippogriff Knight that took a ton of damage off-screen. And then Lewin himself is quite healthy, for sure, but running low on stuff. If Valkia, I mean, she's terror-outing right now, so she can't, but if Valkia could get a Spear Slapnir right here, I think she could die happy. Now, she doesn't want to die at all, obviously, but Khorne's leadership should be good enough to survive the death of their lord. Minotaurs will take a bit of a hit, but they're overall okay. And Lewin is back in onto Valkia. She has to throw out that last spear real quick, as she is going to get routed for real this time. No, she manages to rally, and the spear completely whiffs. Oh, it's a shame, and one of the Skull Cannons even gets caught out by the Royal Hippogriff Knights and the Damsel of Life. Now Valkia is trying to get away. Skull Cannon's out of ammo yet again. And Lewin was able to easily breeze through those Minotaurs, no problem whatsoever. The last healthy Minotaur is countercharged by the Grail Knights. And they're fighting it out. One Grail Knight is killed off entirely. The other Grail Knights are committed in a fight for their lives with the Royal Hippogriff Knights. All of them are getting an Earthblood Overcast, trying to keep them up, and Lewin even joins the fight. But this is crucial for Khorne. If they can kill all of these cavalry pieces, they can have a much easier game ahead of them. Chaos Warriors with halberds are routing away from peasant mobs. More dogs are rejoining the fight. And that healthy Mino is healthy no longer, and he is also pushed off. Both spears are already spent. Now they are, but earlier they weren't. Valkia's back, so at least Khorne didn't take a bunch of leadership damage. But the Minos are having a tough time really getting onto targets they want. Now all 3 of them taking significant damage, and they don't have healing like Bretonnia does. Lewin gets giant shots onto the Skull Cannon, which at over 2/3 HP is just going to demonic instability crumble. Oh, that is so tragic for the forces of Khorne. The Skull Cannon is just dead outright. Now, halberds are surrounding the Damsel of Life. Maybe they can do damage to her, even though she's a foot character. She only has 22 melee defense, so come on, the halberd should be able to hit that. And Royal Hippogriff Knights are charging the Minos, who are also sitting in halberds. This could be a bad fight for the Minotaurs, but it looks like they're going to have to take it, as the third one is also grouping up on these guys. Flesh to Stone is reducing 60% of the damage that is coming in right now. And Khorne is mostly just grouping up with their halberds, trying to get something done here. Valkia gets pushed off by mounted yeoman archers shooting here in the bum. Is Sipa for west or east? East. Valkia does not have demonic. She's mortal. Lewin is in with the Sword of Khorne, lowering all of the Minotaur's leadership. They are in mass exodus. And Bretonnia is looking like they're going to win it. That is GG. It was a good attempt. It was a good attempt by Khorne. Like I said, this matchup feels cursed, in my opinion. Feels cursed. Valkia and her Minos got okay damage value. Skull Cannons got okay damage value. Chaos Warriors with halberds did pretty well, and Chaos Warhounds had no archers to chase down. GG. 3. Now it looks like we're looking for Coolest Guy and Sir Groot. Sir Groot sent me a code. We'll get the blocker up before I enter. And this might be our last live game of the day. Cool Umbrella, as far as I know, has not answered his messages. And then everything else I have a replay of. I was promised a battle versus the Atlantic Ocean. Nice. All right. Isn't the entire stream going to be everybody versus ODM? There's a lot of ODM in it, but Sipa is not ODM, and he was on the EU team. Warriors of Chaos versus Greenskins. Coolest guy on the Greenskins is the West player. The East player is on the Warriors of Chaos and Sir Groot. Let's go, Sipa. Sipa already played. You can't keep cheering for someone after they won. I thought Sipa was a recruit. He was a couple months ago. I think 3 months ago. Dump, dump, dump. Alright, for EU, in the Warriors of Chaos, we have a Tzeentch caster with Blue Fire and his Chaos Spawn summon. And then we have 3 Chaos Spawn, including the Weird Spawn, Regiment of Renown. We have 4 Chaos Warriors with Halberds, 6 Skirmish Cav, consisting of Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch and Marauder Horsemen and Marauder Horse Masters. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's a Skirmish Cav game. On the other side, for Coolest Guy, we have Goblins and Orc Boys. We have Night Goblins with Spinning Loons, some Stone Trolls, the Swamp Things River Trolls, ROR, some Squig Herds, and then 4 Archers, 3 of which are Orc ROR Boys, and 1 is the Rusty Errors Night Goblin Archers. We have Wurzag with Here We Go and Fists of Gork. He might be able to deal with the Skirmish Cav with 4 standing Archers. Might. Go, Orc, R boys. I don't have any tea left. Well, today is ruined. It's no coincidence that EU is pronounced EU. That was good. That's pretty good. Both sides just getting ready to start here. And there we go. The war horn is sounded and we are in. Greenskins advancing. Pretty quickly, I think Chaos is going to try and prolong this game by using their 6 Skirmish Cav versus the 4 Archers. We'll see how that goes. Wurzag can use Effigy to get to net a Skirmish Cav in place and let his Archers get a counter shot onto it, which can almost delete a unit if he has 4 archers and he's using, you know, Effigy Gate, which does damage on its own. West isn't just the US. True. True, Floof. Chaos is farting around. They don't really want to take a frontal engagement. They want their skirmish cav to, well, skirmish. Oh, and they have blue fire, which they're probably going to cast. I wonder if they'll cast it just on repeat on Warzag, because you can snipe them out pretty quickly that way. Quickly, relative, right? It's not going to be like 1 minute, but you can kill them in like 5 casts. If some of them are overcasts. I think that's probably the right way to go. Yeah, just spam out blue fires onto Warzag. Because without his leadership and without his buffs, then their front line loses a lot of steam and their trolls essentially just become Skaven slaves level of leadership. There goes the first blue fire of many onto poor little Wurzy. Takes about 600 damage. A lot of them hit the ground before they got to him, which was a little weird. The Broken Tusk mob's currently taking some skirmish cav fire. Now they're trying to dodge it. The Rusty Errors getting shots off onto the Chaos Warriors. It looks like they aren't interested in counterfiring the skirmish cavalry much at all. They just want to get the frontline fight started, which, alright, I guess. Goblins charge in, Orc Boys charge in, but already these Goblins are going to rout, and we'll need the other Night Goblins to fill in the cracks there. Chaos Spawn Summon's probably going to come out from this guy right now. Yep, he's throwing it on the Rusty Errors. And Skirmish Cav are continuing to annoy the Greenskins in the backfield. Here comes an Here We Go from Warzag, trying to buff up that entire front line. Gives them all insane melee attack, gives the whole army a bit more. As another blue fire hits, Warzag is down to about a quarter HP missing. The Skirmish Cav are free and clear to charge these Orc Aura Boys on the backfield now that the Broken Tusk mobs and Trolls have all committed to this Chaos Spawn Summon. And they are getting a little blobbed up. Skirmish Cav is making them pay for that. And they'll start to fall back now. So far, Greenskins up on the balance of power, which I find a little strange, but damage value is very equal. Warzag's not having the best time. Effigy to get is out onto the Marauder Horsemasters, and some archers are going to turn and start firing onto them. I like that a lot. That is going to be some good punishment. The front line for the Greenskins is holding for now as a Wah is popped. There go the archer volleys like we talked about. That is a good combo from the start of the game. And it looks like some Squigs even went out to say hello. But another blue fire is going to hit little Warzag, taking him down to around half HP. EU, let's go. They're doing pretty good so far. We'll have to see. As the Skirmish Cav is getting some rear charges out, one of them is kiting the Broken Tusk bombs way into the distance. But archers are keeping them honest. And now some Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch are going to dive into melee combat, but there's a lot of trolls nearby. The Chaos Spawn Summon has faded from the side of the Warriors of Chaos. A lot of their halberds are not feeling so good. One is routing, another one is almost dead. The other's at one-third HP missing. But the Greenskins are starting to get some of that mass rout going on. Another blue fire onto Warzag takes him down to 1/3 HP. A big Here We Go is cast, and a Spinning Loons is out. Get some pretty good damage on the halberd. At first it was going wide, but then it managed to rally. Speaking of rallying, that's what Greenskins are going to have to do because some of these trolls and squids are on their way out. Archers are firing at the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch, but on his weird little mount, they're not going to get a lot of hits. They should probably focus on the Chaos Spawn. Spawn. Here We Go is still active, helping out these trolls. They are surrounded by halberds and such. And Blue Fire is still chasing down Warzag. He's going to try and dodge as best he can, but he can only get so far. Oof. And the Skirmish Cav also firing in onto him is pretty brutal. So if these Skirmish Cav keep chasing down these Night Goblins and stuff, routing Warzag, and then the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch could just follow him, cast like 2 more Blue Fires and kill him off. Because you want to kill him, you don't just want to rout him. The bigger shock to leadership is a large deal versus Greenskins. But there may not be a front line left for Warriors of Chaos to abuse that Greenskin leadership. As another blue fire hits Warzag, getting some really good damage down. He's down to 450 HP. That's 1 more blue fire from death, I believe. A lot of Greenskins are routing, but there's just so little left for the Warriors of Chaos. They have 3 extremely wounded skirmish cav in the distance, 1 healthy skirmish cav, a second healthy skirmish cav, and a third. So 3 healthy skirmish cav, 3 almost dead skirmish cav. Their Chaos Spawn are going to be gone. They will be a non-factor very shortly. And the Chaos Warriors with Halberds are already a non-factor just by how much damage they've taken. Why is the Blue Firecaster not finishing Wurzag? Oh, he's surrounded by Marauder Horsemen. Okay, you're counting on them to kill him. Which is bold. I mean, Cavalry does like to just walk alongside stuff, but sure. I guess you don't want to waste your Winds of Magic. It's fine. They'll eventually kill him. They might just throw spears at him at point-blank range and kill him off that way. Greenskins do have 4 archers who are rather healthy. Again, some poke down, and Wurzag has officially died. So here comes the leadership spike. A lot of stuff is going to get routing. Chaos Spawn tear out off some trolls before archers will take care of them. Now, I don't know if the skirmish cav is going to be enough to clean up this game. We'll have to see. But something has to be done about the archers, and I think some sideways blue fires are in order. Coolest guy, he starts to turn the night goblins towards the blue fire, so that it does way less damage. And they are back to trying to poke at the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. The Swamp Things are very healthy and continuing to heal, so that is a good point of power for the Greenskins. Broken Tusk Mob, still healthy enough to be a nuisance. Skirmish Cav will have to use a lot of ammunition on them to kill them off. Everything else is low enough or inconsequential enough that it'll be fine. So does Ratboy live in the DLC's DLC? What are you talking about? I'm scared. These stone trolls, low enough on leadership that if they get charged by these cavalry from 2 different directions, they will rout. The Broken Tusk Mob also thinking about routing, and that'd be a nice little pocket of victory for the Warriors of Chaos, taking out 2 expensive / healing units. More blue fires are getting spammed out. Orc Arboy's taking a lot of damage from that one. Again, over time, it'll add up. And the Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch continuing to poke away at the Swamp Things, while Marauder Horsemasters shatter off some Orc Boys. Greenskins are being pulled apart right now. The skirmish cav will have to be careful about using their ammunition willy-nilly. They'll probably want to go into like melee only, turn fire at will off when they're chasing stuff, rather than right now. You can see they're occasionally throwing their little spears into stuff they're chasing, which is just a waste of their ammunition, and they're going to need their ammo in the late game. Chaos Warriors with Halberds have rallied. Orc Boys are going to charge them, but I think the Chaos Warriors should be able to rout them off with gusto. River Trolls are taking a ton of damage. Now the Greenskins are trying to regroup around their 4 healthy archers who can do a lot of counterfire against the skirmish cav. We mentioned at the literal start of the game that standing archers will be a problem for the skirmish cav. So the fact that this fight has been all drawn out and all of the archers have been trying to shoot the Chaos Sorcerer Lord Tzeentch, who is a small, armored, shielded target that also gets barriers every so often, they're just not going to deal any damage to him. So they needed to bring all of their melee units back to the archers a long time ago and reform lines. It looks like they're doing that now, but the balance of power is evened up. Stone Trolls are run off the map. Boar Boy Biggins shattered. And the River Troll Hags have taken like half their HP since we last saw them. Their leadership is dipping pretty bad, and they're still taking a bunch of damage because these skirmish cav deal magic and fire damage, which the fire damage is extra effective versus trolls. Yeah. Skirmish cav count. 1 is healthy, 2 are rather injured, 3 are very injured. But they actually have a decent amount of ammunition left for this late in the game, so now it's just going to turn into Blue Fire Kite and Skirmish cav Kite. I think the Greenskins are maybe doomed. Maybe. Now Archers can stand and counterfire, which is nice. But I don't know. Blue fire is a powerful thing. It's a hell of a drug. Pharaoh content win. Oh, and there's another healthy Horsemaster coming out of nowhere. Why would I do Pharaoh content? Nasty blue fire on a big blobbed up portion of archers who are not firing at skirmish cav right now, and it looks like they might get charged. If they charged in, even if they backed out immediately, they would just cause a rout. I think the Greenskins are doomed. Skirmish cav charging in just to get the Rusty R's to maybe flee. They hold for now, but one of the goblins is going. The archers will get a pretty good penalty onto the Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch who are trying to fall back right now, but I think another blue fire is coming in soon, and those archers are clumped up yet again, so that blue fire could get another multi-hit off onto those guys. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch is actually maybe going to go into melee. Yeah, he's just going to rock in here, because he's not really scared of anything. The River Trolls are gone, and that'll rout the Night Goblin archers. Skirmish Cav still punishing the River Trolls, who are nearing their heal cap. Bounce power has turned in the favor of Chaos, and I do definitely agree. Skirmish Cav trying to retreat away from these Orc Aura boys who are shooting at them. The Swamp Things, though, almost rout. They managed to rally, and they're going to take a volley from these Marauder Horsemasters probably soon. If only he brought Blue Fire too. He brought Blue Fire. What are you talking about? It's right there. It's the only spell he brought. I can't tell if you're trolling or if you didn't know the only spell he had, but that's what killed Wurzag. It was just Blue Fire spam. Anyway, some stuff got routed. Skirmish Cav does need to be brought in to chase it off, so those Rusty Arrows are going to be allowed to rally, and that is a mistake here from the Chaos Kite. And the Marauder Horsemen are slowly getting ticked down. Tick, tick, tick. I mix up pink and blue fire. Oh, you meant the pink fire. Okay. Skirmish Cav sandwich with the Lord on the Rusty Arrows. We'll get rid of him. And the Swamp Thing's continuing to take Skirmish Cav fire. Now, this Marauder Horsemaster's taking a lot of damage, so he's at 1/3. We have a Horseman at 1/4, a Horsemaster at about 1/5 or 1/6, and another Horseman of Tzeentch at 1/6 or so. The main problem is going to be this healthy Lord towards the end. Can probably kill all these archers. Another big blue fire. This one onto the River Trolls. He's just like, fuck these in particular, I guess. Bavarat? Yeah. Swamp Thing's rout. Now, what you do have to be careful of when you're chasing them is your own Skirmish Cav leadership ain't doing so hot, and they do cause terror, so they might terror out your Cav, and then they'll rally right in their face. Does Groot have a spawn summon? No, I used it at the very start of the game. The River Trolls are allowed to rally. They're trying to heal it back up. Now that is one of their routes gone, so if they rout again, then you get them pretty close to shattering. That could be one way of handling this. Still a lot of archers. So anytime that the Skirmish Cav move in, they're taking a lot of damage here. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord thinks about charging in, decides against it. And there's about 200, looks like almost 300 damage off those Marauder Horsemasters that get pushed back. One volley left on these other guys, 10 on that Marauder Horsemaster that just routed. 6 over there, 0 and 4. Things are looking a little rough though. And now comes a big committal. They're just going to pile in on every side and see what they can rout, and then back off and see if they can chase it. Or if they can just get a mass rout and flat out win. The Swamp Things are going to hold. They cause terror, so they cannot terror out or anything like that. Pink Fire would do a lot of damage here. It's true. The Swamp Things go negative and they rout, and that's the big armor-piercing, terror-causing thing. Getting pushed away. That means these Chaos Warriors will last a lot longer. And them plus the Chaos Sorcerer Lord are beating up on these Orc Aura boys, who are decent combatants, but they're struggling against the Chaos Warriors. More Cav are charging into the Orc Aura boys, but can the Orc Aura boys fight back? Their leadership is faltering. The Swamp Things will get run down by Marauder Horsemen. Once again, we need to talk about that terror, because if these guys get a little too on leadership, they are just going to terror out away. The Orc Aura boys are feeling real low, but if the Halberds can be pushed back, maybe the Orcs can hold. Maybe, but another brutal Cav charge comes in, and there goes the first route, and it's going to be a chain route into GG. Warriors of Chaos take another one. Sorry. EU takes another one through the Warriors of Chaos. 2,000 damage value on the blue firecaster. Halberds and chaos spawns struggled a bit, but the skirmish cav did great. Got a lot of value. Wurzag got sniped out by blue fire pretty quickly. Trolls got decent value, but also got routed. Fanatics got pretty good value. Orc boys did okay. Goblins did okay. And the archers did well. GG. Okay. All right, so we're moving to replays. We still don't know where Cool Umbrella is. So we'll cast the replays. I don't need a blocker when casting the replays because the games are played whether or not someone won. So it's not a spoiler that they happened. All right. Berserk. Berserk for EU on the Ogre Kingdoms versus Umais for NA on the Warriors of Chaos. For the Ogre Kingdoms, we have Ogre Bulls, Crushers with great weapons, some Iron Guts. It looks like 2 Crushers overall. Bunch of Iron Guts, Ogre Bulls. 4 Noblar Trappers. 5 Noblar Trappers. 3 Noblars, and a single Lead Belcher. And of course, we have a Slaughtermaster with Great Maw with the Iron Fist. The Bone Crusher, Brain Gobbler, and Troll Guts. On the other side, for the Warriors of Chaos, we have 4 Zongors, Dragon Ogres, a front line of Marauders with great weapons and Marauders mixed throughout. Another Dragon Ogres. There's 2 Dragon Ogres, including the Summoners of Rage, and then Archaon the Everchosen, Burning Head, and Searing Doom. Ogre Bulls trying to charge out into Zongors, but those guys will run away, and Umais gets a counter charge with his Dragon Ogres that should slap the Ogre Bulls pretty heavily. Marauders fighting Noblars, but they do have the VM formation that makes your chaff last a lot longer, though it is a little more difficult to micro because they don't cover nearly as much space. The Marauders are quickly routed off by Lead Belchers firing down the sides of them. A quick Burning Head also comes out, going to rout the Noblar Trappers and lower the Lead Belchers' leadership a bit, but the Marauders are just trying to get damage out with the Lead Belchers fire at point-blank range, and more Iron Guts will charge in afterwards. In the distance, we have a bit of a blob fight that appears rather important as Crushers have dove onto the Dragon Ogres, and while 1 Ogre Bull was killed off, looks like the Crushers are doing a number on these Dragon Ogres, though overall they are rather surrounded in chaff from the Warriors of Chaos, so maybe the Warriors of Chaos can do well there. The front line is mixed right now, but it looks like the Warriors of Chaos are still getting through, so doing a bit of good work. Summoners of Rage, not living their best life. They don't want to be fighting Noblar Trappers with their time, unfortunately. Zongors are trying to stop 2 different Trappers from firing in, and Archaon gets off a nice little Searing Doom, do some damage, though. He himself is now going to get surrounded by Crushers and Iron Guts and Ogre Bulls, while the Lead Belchers attempt to kite away. In the distance, Crushers are winning out. They pushed off the Dragon Ogres. They pushed off all of the chaff for the Warriors of Chaos and just slapped through them. They didn't give a single shit. Okay. Damn. Well, things looking rough for the Warriors of Chaos now. A pocket that really should have been theirs to win. They somehow managed to just lose it outright. And now the center fight's going okay, but the flanks are taking forever, and we're going to have more Crushers coming down, while other Crushers surround Archaon. We're going to get good damage value out onto him. He doesn't have any defensive buffs. He just has 60 melee defense base that he's relying on to try and stay alive. But man, the Marauders got crushed. They got slaughtered. Little Searing Doom in from Archaon. Summoners of Rage. Get on the Lead Belchers. That's a good pick. They're going to get good damage onto those guys, but they're getting countercharged by Crushers. They're getting shot in the butt by Noblar Trappers. And their Lord is getting sniped by Crushers, though he's doing his best to fight his way out of it. It looks like the Ogres are going to stampede their way to a pretty quick victory over the Warriors of Chaos. I've not watched any of these replays ahead of time, and I only know the results of the one I was playing in. Crushers did great. Ogre Bulls did fine. Noblar Trappers did fine. That was so bloody close. You thought you lost, Sir Groots? It was pretty close. It was indeed pretty close. So that was a win for the EU lads. If they win one more, they win the whole thing. And we have Cathay versus Dwarves. Oh, God. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. At least it's a replay. I can fast forward if I need to. It's Yanbo. Why Yanbo? Quick question. Why Yanbo? Alright. I don't like that. I am suspect of that. On the side of the Dwarves, we have Miners, Blasting Charges, Slayers, more Miners, Bugmans, Rangers, and other Rangers. We have Slayers, and a whole bunch of Warriors, plus Rune Lord Double Thane. And the Rune Lord has his Missile Resist aura, and his ITP and Perfect Vigor aura, so he has 35% Missile Resist. On the other side for Cathay, we have Yembo, the Jade Dragon, with Talons of Night and Jade Shield. He did not bring his Executioner item. He just has his passive. Okay. On the other side... Not on the other side. A bunch of Jade Warriors, Peasant Long Spears, 3 Crane Gunners, 3 Jade Lancers, and 2 Onyx Crowmen, one of which is the Empress Crowman, to try and get Disruption going. The two factions that deserve each other. Empress Crowmen have dove onto the Bugman's Rangers. Yembo is out here doing his best to be disruptive, but a Peasant Longspear gets entirely deleted by a Miner with Blasting Charges. Looks like another one is about to share the same fate. There they go. So 2 Peasant Longspears already routing. Another one is on its way out as Bugman's Rangers have harassed them, but the Empress Crowmen and the Onyx Crowmen are getting free damage on the backside of the Bugman's Rangers over there. It looks like the Dwarves are just abandoning those to their fate, not really bothering to go back there and help them in any way. And Slayers ended up on the front line versus Peasant Longspears, which is not a fight they want to be taking, but they are just pushing up as quickly as possible to harass the Crane Gunners and not let them kite. So now we are going to get a bunch of cavalry cycle charging as Dwarf Warriors take a massive amount of damage on the charge. In the distance, Slayers got to fight Jade Lancers, and that is exactly the fight they want. They are crushing those Jade Lancers. To be fair, they've taken a lot of damage, and they're a rather expensive piece, but Dwarves just don't like cavalry being alive. Talons of Night is going to get a 2-for-1 on some Dwarf Warriors and Miners, though it will also take Jade Warriors with it to hell, so Yenbo is not a forgiving man, is not a careful man. Anyway, sorry. Tourney host messaged me with something again. Rune of Wrath and Ruin, trying to knock some of the Crane Gunners down and stall them while the Dwarves attempt to catch up. Other Dwarves pressuring other Crane Gunners. Balance of power is turning against the Dwarves. Though Cathay has taken a lot of damage elsewhere. 2 of their 3 Jade Lancers are off the battlefield. Most of their chaff is off the battlefield. Their bounce power is being held up by all these Crane Gunners being healthy and having a ton of ammunition, and Yenbo being full health. But if you actually, like, get caught like this, you can see the balance of power is going to spike pretty hard as this thing gets karate chopped to death. And the Crane Gunners won't have a lot of time to sit and shoot as the Dwarves continue to push at them. So we'll see if the Crowmen can make space for them, but I think the Dwarves aren't as disfavored as the bounce power was saying. Left for a bit, oof. Yeah, shit happens. Longbeard's getting shot by 1 Crane Gunner while the other one runs away, and the Emperor's Crowmen are routing off some Miners. But here comes a sandwich, man. There is very, very little space for these guys to run away to. Maybe they can go into the woods, but I was warned of this ahead of time, that their game crashed, and JMG, instead of replaying it, JMG said, I think I lost from that point, so he just gave up. Because his Crane Gunners were about to be sandwiched in. So they would all be dead, and then it'd be Yembo, a half-health Jade Lancer, and 2 Crowmen versus all of these Dwarves. And Yembo probably would lose to Double Thane with the Rune Lord buffing him up, but Gotrek did offer a replay, and it was not taken. seems the Cathay player figured he had lost. Looks like a replacement will be attempted to be found for Cool Umbrella. Anyway. What do we got here? We have Odium's Razel, very good player for EU on the Beastmen. And on the other side, this was John FB on the Ogre Kingdoms. For the Ogre Kingdoms, we have the Powder Guts, Maneater Pistol, Regiment of Renown, then a bunch of Ogre Bulls, some with dual weapons, some without. Iron Guts in the backfield, and then 5 Gnoblar Trappers, 3 Gnoblars in the front line, and a Slaughtermaster with the Great Maul. On the other side, for the Beastmen, we have Centaurs, Ungor Spearmen herds with shields and spears, a couple Ungor Raiders here and there, 4 Minotaurs, 3 of which have great weapons, giving them anti-large, and then we have the Butcher's Skeleton Guard with their regen, and a couple Centaurs to run down anything that is routed, with Malagor Dark Omen to do the routing. Doom and Darkness and Flock of Doom, but mostly he is trying to pair Doom and Darkness with... Oh, he didn't bring it, but he has another leadership aura he could have that's -4 leadership for the enemies nearby. So you could extra nuke them. Powder Guts trying to shoot at Malagor. They can get decent damage down, but I wonder if they should be shooting at Minotaurs instead. It looks like John is immediately on top of that. As soon as the Minos came in range, he switched. Big Flock of Doom hits a lot of units. Now, Ogres aren't particularly susceptible to that spell, but still it's good to, you know, hit that many units with it. You'll still get some damage. Minos are in the front line, slamming through Ogre Bulls. Ungor Spearman herds also offering a lot of support, and so far the Ogres look like they're getting driven pretty steadily back. And a big overcasted Doom and Darkness hits this whole area, getting them to rout. And like we said, there are Centaurs ready to swoop in and clean up if these guys start routing, which they really are. 4 units, 5 units in this blob routing, and the Iron Guts are almost on their way out. There's 17 seconds left on that Doom and Darkness, so actually it could send them over the edge if the Ungor Raiders take some time and shoot at these Iron Guts, but so much stuff is routing. The Beastmen are up on the balance power, and I do tend to agree. Look at all this stuff go, man. The Beastmen are going to have a field day cleaning it all up. And the Ogres just are not able to hold. Doom and Darkness wears off at last. These Iron Guts are going to rally, but now they're fighting with no support because all their support left. Fighting with no support versus Minos, which will kick their shit in. God damn. Look at them go. Look at them running. Troll Guts, Overcast is going to try and keep these Iron Guts in the fight. But Archers are now firing at the Powder Guts, which is the best way to take them out. You don't really want to fight them in melee because they get jacked up stats if they're losing melee combat. And if they're winning it, then obviously they're winning it. But all 4 Archers firing onto them is doing a ton of damage. The balance of power shifting quite heavily against the Ogre Kingdoms, and I do tend to agree. I really don't see how they're going to be able to win it from here. They are getting some rallies on the backside, which is surprising. I honestly thought Razel would have his Centaurs all over that situation. But the Archers are more than making up for it. Maneater Pistols pushed off, more Ogre Bulls pushed off. Iron Guts now left alone, thinking about getting out of here as well. It doesn't look like the Ogres' rallying forces are going to be able to carry this game, because now it's only the Slaughtermaster who is feeling good about this fight. Alright, Tournament Host is telling me to wait after this replay. Army losses is hitting. And that'll take EU to 6 wins, which is enough for them to win the event, regardless of how the rest of the games go down. It was a quick one. The Ungor Raiders getting amazing value, and then Doom and Darkness Overcast also doing great. For John FB and the Ogres, there's not a lot to say. They just, started routing due to the Doom and Darkness combos plus the Archers being up, and they never stopped routing. Ogres are a weird faction because they really feel like sometimes they're a low leadership faction and other times they're unbreakable, and it's like fucking 50-50 on which Ogres you're getting that day. Hubs, do the next replay while you figure out a build. Okay. Okay, I'm doing one more before we go to the final live game, looks like. Hiles versus Dark Elves or me versus Green One? Let's do me versus Green One. Skaven versus Greenskins. Oh boy. This has been a toughie recently. Since people rediscovered troll spam and just chucking as much mass at you as possible, because you can use trolls, you can use boar boys, you can use squigs, and you can just have so much mass that it's impossible to defend the range. Now, for the Skaven and me, I have my Grey Seer of Ruin with Dreaded 13th and Warp Lightning, Unholy Clamor, and his Bound Scorch. Try and keep my guys in it, and Dreaded 13th to punish any blobs that form. We do have 3 Poisonwind Globes. I have a front line mixed with Plague Monks, Clan Rats, Plague Monks, and Clan Rats, so 3 Plague Monks there. We have 3 Rat Ogres, a Skaven Slave, Ikit Zap Zap, Warp Lightning Cannon, and Packmaster on a Brood Horror. On the other side, for the Greenskins, we have Wurzag, who is easily dodging my Warp Lightning shot, so now I refocus onto some other stuff. We have 4 Savage Orc Boar Boys, an Orc Boar Boy, 3 Trolls, 2 of which are Stone Trolls, 1 is the River Trolls Swamp Things, 5 Goblins, 4 Squigs, the Morgans Magi Marauders Regiment of Renown Wolf Riders, and Wurzag. Any Tyrannok Chariot sighted? No. No. Warp Lightning Cannons trying to punish those Savage Orc Boar Boys. They will fall back. Now I'm shooting at Wurzag again. It looks like he's going to put his dancing shoes on and try and get towards the trees. So unfortunately, the Warp Lightning Cannon has not been able to do very much. Plague Monks on the front line, going to be fighting with Gobos and Squigs. I'm trying to reset Wurzag's cooldown so he can't cast anything, but all of those shots miss, so he's actually able to cast just fine. There, I finally reset his cooldowns. But the Trolls just walk straight through the Clan Rats. Just walk through them. Don't even route them, just walk through them. I do catch some Boar Boys on the backfield with my Packmaster and Rat Ogres, route them off immediately. My Grey Seer is throwing out some buffs to keep everybody in the fight for now. Unholy Clamor and lowering the leadership and stats. The other guys, Globes are trying to punish a blob, but they don't do that much damage to Trolls, who are once again just walking straight through the front line. Elsewhere, Trolls also just walked through the front line. And I don't mean they killed the front line so quickly that it looks like they're walking through it. They are literally just pathing past my units. Already 2 of our Globes are shut down. A third is now shut down by these Savage Orc Boar Boys charging in. And there are no blobs for me to cast the Dreaded 13th on. I have nowhere to really throw it, which is rough. Ikit Zap Zap's still trying to punish Wurzag, but it's just not doing enough damage at the moment, as some Skaven Slaves and Rat Ogres catch more Boar Boys on the backfield. Plague Monks are winning frontline fights wherever they are, but there aren't enough Plague Monks. And there comes the Dreaded 13th summon, kills some Goblins, but the Savage Orc Boar Boys just walk away from it. And I briefly secure 1 Poison Wind Globe, but it immediately terror outs from the Swamp Things. Now, Stone Trolls have surrounded my Packmaster, but I get Rat Ogres back in on the fight, and the Packmaster is close to causing terror, so we might get rid of them there. Ikit Zap Zap still trying to fire, but now the Stone Trolls have just walked up to it. Is this a tough matchup for the Skaven? Recently, since people rediscovered that you can just spam Trolls, yes. Yes, Trolls make it very fucking tough. Great Book of Grudges. I've abandoned Globes entirely for this matchup. I have a 99% melee build I use these days on this matchup. Anyway, Packmaster's trying to snipe out Wurzag now. We did get rid of the stone trolls. My Rat Ogres got rear charged, and they're almost routing as these Orc Boar Boys try and help out Wurzag, who is taking a lot of damage. My Greyseer is now surrounded in trolls and squigs. He does not enjoy that whatsoever, and he's trying to get away, while my Globes also try and find a safe place to throw at all, ever. Another Wah is out for the Greenskins. Morgrub's Mangy Marauders are firing. And the Globes are here. The Globes are going to fire, and the Globes don't fire, and the Globes stand around because they think they're moving even though they're not. And I try and route the Savage Orc Boar Boys that are next to them, and I tell the Globes to fire, and the Globes are not going to fire, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm really fine with the Globes not firing into a giant pile of trolls that are killing my Lord right now. I'm super happy that the Globes aren't throwing. That's great. That's awesome. That's incredible, actually. It's my favorite fucking thing. As the Packmaster tries to solo carry this game, he's going to push off more Boar Boys, more Rat Ogres pushing off more Boar Boys. And the Globes are free and clear. Do they fire? They're trying to reform lines yet again as Squigs are nearby, but the Squigs are rampaging, attacking something else entirely. Globes have orders to fire. 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 Globes have orders to apparently just die. Now they start firing after they get attacked by stone trolls. Great. We've routed a lot of stuff in the backfield. It's fine. Packmaster rallies some Rat Ogres. We're trying to do our best. Savage Orc Boar Boys are charging in, doing their best. Once again, I get another Warp Lightning out, just trying to lower everybody's leadership and melee attack, but there are so many fucking trolls. So many. Rat Ogres get a Shock Collar to give them the melee attack and leadership they need to stay in the fight with these Savage Orc Boar Boys. Packmaster's going to cause a terror rout very soon. There they go. And more trolls are trying to rejoin the fight. Wurzag's out here. He's alive. He's scuttling around, doing his best. But my Greyseer appears to be pretty fucked. He's just running away from Orc Boys and Stone Trolls. None of my ranged units did jack diddly fuck because they're terrible for some reason and just don't fire. Plague Monks are here in the late game trying to help us out, and the Packmaster, like I said, is solo carrying this game. Pushes off another Savage Orc Boar Boy and now is after Wurzag, trying to snipe him out as the Greyseer runs away from Trolls. Big shots from the Packmaster onto Wurzag, desperate to try and kill the leadership of the Greenskins, maybe get them to start routing, but the Greyseer is just walking away from Stone Trolls and Boar Boys, taking some poke damage as he goes. He's getting chunked down, finds some Clan Rats to hide in as the Packmaster tries to snipe Wurzag. It's a Lord Snipe race, but Morgo's Mangy Marauders are going to cheat and start firing in when it was supposed to be a melee battle, so now I'm getting poked down by Trolls and Boar Boys every so often as they push through my Clan Rats. Morgo's Mangy Marauders are also shooting me. Packmaster's nearing his heel cap, chases down Wurzag, fails to use an attack, so he is just pushing Wurzag instead of attacking him. I wanted to kill him for the bigger leadership debuff, but I end up just infinitely pushing him to the edge of the map, finally getting an attack off, but I escorted him safely to the edge of the map where he can get off without dying. Packmaster misses his next attack, and Wurzag gets off the map without dying, because everything in this replay has gone really great for me. Morgan's Mangy Marauder shooting my Greyseer, Plague Monks trying to come back to the fight, but there's a lot of Trolls, there's a lot of Boar Boys. Morgan's Mangy Marauders are shooting my Lord, and the Packmaster is too far away to help. That is G. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I love two different bugs entirely fucking me over, and my ranged unit's not firing. My Packmaster deciding to take Wurzag on a walk to the edge of the map. I'm fine. I'm super fine with that. Happy with how that went down. Real excited. And that's why now my new Skaven versus Greenskins has pretty much no fucking ranged units. After this game and after playing with my clanmates to prep for this game, I was losing all the time because everyone was just spamming trolls into me. And it's like the builds around the trolls would change, but the trolls were the important part. I was like, you know what, fuck this. And now the trolls like push through my front line, like, we're here, we're gonna kill your globes. I'm like, what globes? There's nothing back here for you. And the trolls are like, oh, we just pushed through the front line to get to nothing. And I'm like, exactly, now fucking die. As storm vermin with halberds and Escher triads and plague monks, just tear them apart. Fuck trolls. They're not overpowered. They're actually not overpowered. They're not overpowered at all. They're a good unit in Skaven, but that doesn't mean they're overpowered. I do like my new builds, though. I do like my new builds, where it's just like, what backline? As people charge a bunch of spider riders and boars into the backline, they're like, sir, all that's back here is more halberds. I'm like, yeah! All that's back here is more halberds! What backline? No ranged units, bitch! Alright, we're joining a lobby. This was supposed to be the matchup of Cool Umbrella versus Raced. But Strat Game will be stepping in. I feel like something's messed up with the scores. No. Yeah, no. Okay. I was like, do we have 11 games? Because we have a replay and then we have this live game here. I believe it's ... That's usually Raced's lobby. Alright, we're in. Second to last game of the stream. We have one replay to go over after this. EU has already won. The best score NA can achieve is 4-7. But let's see if it's 2-9. You should have summoned some moderators to deal with those trolls. Based. Yeah, the traditional way of Skaven, of playing with Skaven versus Greenskins just isn't working since people discovered you can just spam trolls. There's too much mass. They just walk straight through your front line, and Rat Ogres can't stop them all because your Rat Ogres need to stop Boar Boys on your flanks. They need to stop Stone Trolls from getting through your front line. They need to stop River Trolls from getting through your front line. They need to stop Squigs from getting through your front line. It's like, okay, well, you can only have 4 Rat Ogres, so what the fuck are you going to do? Yeah. So I've recently been using, like, honestly, 5 Plague Monks, 2 Eshin Triads, 2 Wolf Rats, 2 Rat Ogres, Packmaster, Greyseer, and then I think 3 Skaven Slave Slingers to poke down Squigs and just be annoying. But that's 600 total gold. 3 Slingers is 50 gold cheaper than 1 Globe. And then I've considered getting a basic Warp Lightning Cannon for 950 gold to just force the enemy not to kite you. Because if they hard kite with, like, Spirit Leech from Azhag or River Troll Hag and then Skirmish Cav, it could be really annoying and just not fun. So I'm thinking about having 1 Warp Lightning Cannon to just force them to play the game. A Sensor Bear? No. Sensor Bears are terrible. Because 1 Brain Burster from Wurzag is going to half health them, so Wurzag can get 600 gold value from Brain Burstering a single Sensor Bear. Yeah. That's just not going to work. Alright. Raced on his Dark Elves. I would say his beloved Dark Elves, or he's a Dark Elf main, or blah, 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 but like everyone and their grandmother is a Dark Elf main, so nobody's a Dark Elf main. When everyone is something, no one's special. So, fuck it. He's playing Dark Elves, like literally everyone else. 3 Cold One Knights, a Dark Rider. Looks like just 1 Dark Rider. We have a Shade with dual weapons. We have 5 Black Arc Corsair Hambos, the Hellebroni, the Crows of Cain, and Supreme Sorceress of Dark, unearthing with Shorstia. They would do well routing the trolls. Maybe. Oh, you're talking about their Contaminate. Yeah, that could be good. On the other side, for Strat Game, and the Tomb Kings. We have 2 Skeleton Horsemen. Those are the cheap variant. 2 more in here, so 4 Skeleton Horsemen. Interesting. 2 Necropolis Knights. The Kepler Guard. 2 Skeleton Archers. A front line of Nehekara Warriors. And Cetra the Imperishable on his Sphinx. This is a very strange and spicy build. Why Necropolis Knights? My clan, NC, Night Crew. I love these guys. I don't know who started the Necropolis Knight thing, but I have never been about it. I think Necropolis Knights are dog shit, and a lot of people in my clan really like them. I don't know why. I still think they suck ass. I think they're so bad. Breath Attack from the Dragon, gonna hit the Kepler Guard, does a little bit of damage. No Scandinavians playing as Norscan Vikings. True. True. Nekar Warriors getting kited out. Cetra is landed on by the Supreme Sorceress of Dark. Now, he is a better melee combatant, but she can just get a nice little charge off and then back away and get some healing, though. Cetra could keep her on the ground. So this might be a little overbold, but he's too slow to start charging again. Not Strat's fault, just like Cetra started an attack animation, so then he took forever to move again. In the distance, Skeleton Horsemen are fighting Dark Riders. Dark Riders should win that overall. And the Black Ark Corsair Handbows are still kiting out the Nekar Warriors. Maybe because they're cool snaky boys. They might be cool snaky boys, but they're also hot garbage. And very expensive hot garbage. The Hellebroni are left to their fate with these other Dread Spears as well. They will probably die quite quickly to the Nekar Warriors, but in the backfield, meanwhile, the Crows of Cain getting a little poke onto Skeleton Archers and another breath attack coming in for the Kepler Guard. Which both of them, they've been moving so they don't take as much damage. And they have regeneration, so they're going to be fine with that. The Tomb Kings are taking a lot of damage overall. Cold Knights now charging into Nekar Warriors. One of them, out of the 5 Nekar Warriors, one is dead, one is half HP. And I don't know where the rest are. Dark Riders are routed off by the Skeleton Horsemen because they got some Skeleton Spear support. Hellebroni. Yeah. Black Ark Corsair Handbows continuing to kite it out, doing pretty good damage to the Skellies, as they do. The Tomb Kings have almost killed the Hellebroni. They've already killed the Dread Spear, and they've done a lot of damage to this Cold One Knight on the charge with these Necropolis Knights and Cetra the Imperishable. Soulstealer caster lands. I bet she's just trying to bait out some damage and then throw down a Soulstealer on both Necropolis Knights and Cetra for just as much damage as you could possibly get from that exchange. Skeleton Horsemen still trying to chase the Cold One Knights with their Foz protection I thought I saw every so often. There's the Soulstealer, exactly like we predicted it. Now can she get out of this situation is the question while she heals up. Crows of Cain are back on the back line, once again harassing the archers, trying to heal up as they do so. Nekar Warriors have come back to fight them off. But I don't know if it will be enough. Black Ark Corsairs and Shades just standing their ground and fighting at this point. And Cold One Knights are going to get a downhill charge over here to help out a little bit. Dragon Lady is trying to get away. The Cold One Knights are in here fighting after getting a downhill charge. So far, damage value and balance of power is very even. And I'm not sure who's winning just yet. Because the Dark Elves kiting forces are now stuck in melee, which is not what they want at all. So if they can get out of here, then they'll be fine. Necropolis Knights take a big downhill charge, start to run away from Cold One Knights. The Skeleton Horsemen will crumble away to save those snaky boys. The Dark Elf caster is back onto Cetra, back into the snakes. She doesn't give a single shit about that. And the Crows of Cain once again eyeing the Skeleton Archers. And the Kepler Guard are like, please, can we just find a fight? We want to participate in this video game. That would be awesome. As they have 0 damage value so far. Cold Knights charging into more sneaky snakes that are getting shot by Shades the whole while. And here comes the Tomb King's summon. It actually could be quite impactful considering how much kite there is. If it comes in behind these Shades, then that's going to be a whole Shade unit probably dead from the combined efforts of Skeleton Horsemen and a Ushapti summon and some random skeletons. So that could be pretty big. That could be huge. Cetra's already down to half HP, though. Both of his knights are sharing the same fate. Another Soulstealer is going to hit all 3 of these very expensive units. And some Skeleton Horsemen have been forgotten in the distance. They do have to rally and come back and help chase off some Dark Elves. For the Dark Elves, their Cold One Knights are doing their best. Cold One Knights aren't the best anti-large cavalry in the game, but they are an anti-large cavalry that exists. So they're trying. They're trying. Soulstealer, big damage down onto these guys. Black Ark Corsairs doing incredible damage value too, and that is a lot of very wounded Tomb Kings units. Ushapti Summon is here, doing exactly what we talked about, really damaging these Shades, but the Black Ark Corsairs are quite healthy. They should be able to carry this game out, especially if they still have their Sorceress of Dark in the late game. Necropolis Knights have gotten all the healing from the Tomb King's passive they will get. That top thing is bugged. They already got the Ushapti summon, so they got all the healing they're ever going to get. The Crows of Cain are pushed off by Nekar Warriors and the Kepler Guard. But still, Strat has 1 Skeleton Archer online that can fire. All 3 Cold One Knights are about to rout. And Cetra can still try and heal up the Necropolis Knights throughout the game with his spells as possible. Gifs and incantations of Cursed Blades overcast onto these spearmen who are not fighting any large units. I think that is unfortunately a waste of your Winds of Magic. The bonus versus large just isn't going to help them versus any of the stuff back here. Cetra and the Kepler Guard moving up. Balance of power is still dead even. Damage value is still dead even. But the Tomb Kings are relying on a full health summon. That is going to go away in 2 seconds. So the balance of power look a lot worse when that goes away. And we have a crumbling skeleton archer. We have a crumbling Nakara warrior that are all taking some damage. Cetra wants nothing to do with the Supreme Sorceress of Dark, who is chasing him down right now, beating his ass. Who's better, Colden Riders or Snake Boys? Okay, Snake Boys are better than Colden Riders, yeah. Crows of Cain healing up while they fight the Skeleton Archers and these Nakara Warriors. The Nakara Warriors will beat them, but I think they're just trying to damage the Archers while they can. One of the Sneaky Snakes is just about dead. Another Soul Stealer hits Cetra and his boys. Shades are fully chased off. Bounce power is still about equal. Damage value is still about equal, but I have to think that the Dark Elves have this, man. They have no breath attacks left, so killing the Kepler Guard might actually prove difficult. Because they're running out of ammo. Okay, okay. Maybe the Kepler Guard can carry this with Cetra helping out a little bit. The Cetra days are extremely numbered. Strat's focusing down the Shades because they're the only things with a significant amount of ammo left to fire at his Kepler Guard. Now they're solo on models. I don't think it even matters. Yeah, now they've shattered, so who cares? And he is trying to get away from the Blackheart Corsair handbows. He just doesn't want to take the damage on his Necropolis Knights. He wants to try and stall so he can spend more Winds of Magic healing them up and shit. And they are just going to charge in now as Cetra gets assaulted by the Dark Elf Lady. Gets a spell to heal himself and give himself some physical resistance. Going to walk away from her. Dark Elf Cold One Knights are better than snakes. Yes, but Cold One Riders for the Lizardmen is what I think he was talking about. Anyway. Gif's Incantation of Cursed Blades. Once again, another cheap spell from Cetra, just trying to heal himself up. We still have some Tomb King's archers on the field, but they are, unfortunately for the Tomb Kings, crumbling. So they'll be gone in just a second. But I worry, man, about all these Nehekar warriors left. We have a half-health Nehekar warrior, a full-health Kepler Guard. They've done a lot of regenerating. I get it, but still, they do have a full-health bard right here, right now. We have a full-health Skeleton Spearman and another, like, 1/3 HP Nehekar warrior. Sneaky Snakes will die, fighting to the last man. They got some decent damage out, but a big Soul Stealer is going to hit the Kepler Guard and Cetra. Probably going to be enough to get Cetra to start crumbling and kill himself. Yeah, he's going to crumble here. Corsair Handbows, 5 volleys left for these guys. 4 for the ones on the low ground, and that is about it. Cetra does die. Cetra the Imperishable has perished. No shot, he rallies. The Dark Elves have used a lot of Soul Stealers, so there's not going to be a ton in the late game to heal up this Dragon Lord. Cetra's charging bonus will wear off, and then he'll crumble again, don't you worry. There he goes. And Cetra is down, but the Dark Elves have lost a lot of units, and that's concerning, because this lady does not clear out infantry well at all. She has a terrible time versus mass amounts of infantry. Blackheart Corsair is still trying to kite around a little bit, though this one might route right next to the edge of the map. It looks like at the last second the Skeleton Spears do pull away. Skeleton Horsemen trying to surround the Sorceress of Dark. They should probably just chase off random shit. Because they're not going to hold her in place, unfortunately for them. They are going to get a downhill charge onto Blackheart Corsair Handbows. That's fine. It's fine use of your time. These Nehekar warriors need to turn onto the Crows of Cain. It looks like the Nehekar horsemen are also going to, so everybody's just committing to this, and the horsemen will at least keep them on the ground so that they take significant damage. That's fine. That's a fine use of them. I do think he has to just ignore the Supreme Sorceress of Dark. He just has no agency to keep her on the ground. Even the Skeleton Horsemen aren't enough to block her, so if she wants to walk away, she can. Yeah, he started ignoring her. Blackheart Corsairs, 2 volleys left on these ones, 3 on those. There's an almost dead Golden Knight in the distance. The Hellebroni are also not feeling so good. And 2 more almost dead Blackheart Corsairs up here. So really, we have 1 healthy Blackheart Corsair and the Dragon Lord versus all this stuff. I don't think anything else that's even here even matters. 1 Nekara Warrior fades away. And the Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress. Oof, nasty land onto that Nekara Warrior. Corsairs, 2 volleys left on that one, then they'll have to attack in melee in some form. 2 on that one, 1 on this one. The Kepler Guard's still healing up. Their heal cap's not in sight just yet. Nekara Warrior rallies, and they're chilling as each handbow has 1 volley left. Well, it said 1 volley left, and then they did a volley, and it didn't go anywhere. Big charge in onto the Kepler Guard. Their heal cap is within sight. And the Corsairs fire their last volleys. Yes, so now everybody is a melee unit. But the Tomb Kings are way too far down in the balance of power. They're probably going to just army loss at this juncture. They charge into the last healthy Blackheart Corsair. Kepler Guard should make mincemeat out of them. The Dragon Lord's going to try and cycle charge around as much as she can. Sometimes she gets crazy animations that do a lot of damage to infantry, and other times she does very, very little. But army losses is like right there. Tomb King's fighting back. This Blackheart Corsair handbow went from being full health to being almost dead. It just doesn't seem to matter. Hellebroni and the fucking Cold One Knights in the distance just shattered on their own, but army losses does come for the Tomb Kings at last. The Dark Elves carry it. Where's the Coast? I guess Coast was never picked. Also, the NA team never played Tzeentch or Kislev or Grand Cathay. So the NA team didn't play any of the 3 OPs, which I find strange. Glancing over the values, it was a kite game, so you're not going to see a lot of value on the Tomb King's side. One of their Sneaky Snakes paid for itself, the other one did not, and Cetra got half his value back. 4,000 damage value on the Dark Elf Sorceress. Another character that I'm super happy to see literally all the time, and I'm so glad is probably never going to get nerfed in patch 4.1. Yeah, GG. GG. So that takes EU up to 8. 8-2. And there's 1 replay left from Golden Floof versus Turian. This is the last game of the day. The best NA can do is 3-7. The worst we can do is 2-9. Wait, no. It'd be 3-8. 3-8. I glanced over at my YouTube, and YouTube is on a delay. So, does Floof take us to 3-8, or are we stuck at 2-9? Like failures. For the High Elves, we do have Shades, Shadowcaster. Yeah, sorry. Pit of Shades with Melkos Mystifying Miasma, a front line of Rangers and Spearmen with 4 Lions of Krace and 4 Lothern Seaguard. Pretty straightforward. On the other side, for Dark Elves, we do have a Dark Elf Dark Caster on our Dragon, Soul Stealer, and Power of Darkness. Front line of Witch Elves, Dread Spears, and Blackheart Corsairs mixed throughout. The Crows of Cain, some Dark Riders, some Cold One Knights, and that is about it. All right. Neither army has a ton of ranged. I mean, for Lothern Seaguard, they're a hybrid ranged unit, so really not that much ranged. And not a ton of cavalry either. The Dark Elves have 4. I guess you could maybe kind of count the War Lions as cav, sort of. I mean, they're faster than foot infantry. And they have mass, so they kind of serve as cavalry. Anyway, the frontline fight is underway. Rangers should plow through Dread Spears, but Blackheart Corsairs should kick the Rangers' ass. Should. And Witch Elves are getting shot by Lothern Seaguard right away. We'll see if the Dark Elves can overrun. Another Pit of Shades is out. Hits a Dread Spear and a Black Arc Corsair and a bit of a Witch Elf, doing really good damage. The High Elves are off to a great start. Look at that front line for the Dark Elves just completely crumble and fall away. Cavalry is trying to get to the back line, as are these Black Arc Corsairs, who've sprinted past. Now they're on to Spearmen, which isn't the range units they want, but they still should do okay. Crows of Cain and Dark Riders trying to shut down these Lothern Sea Guard as more and more Dark Elves start pouring into the back area, but the front line is a complete wash, as everything is pushed away from the Dark Elves. Dragon Lord looking to maybe breath attack down the line, but the Lothern Sea Guard turned at the last second, so now it's not nearly as juicy, if she even has it up, which... probably not. That would be another good target right there, but it's probably on cooldown. So Dragon Lord's going to have to make an impact. The High Elves really don't have the same single entity presence. They just have an Eagle Caster. And there is a Soul Stealer for damage. It looks like it's going to hit maybe 4 units. Just 3. It hits 3 units, but it was just for damage. Dark Elf Caster hasn't taken any damage, so it's not going to really heal too much from it. The High Elves have no healing, however, which in my practice games with Golden Floof, I was using the Lore of Metal for a bit, and then I decided just to switch to Lore of Life, and the Lore of Life was much better. So we'll see if they can get enough damage out of the Lore of Shadows to make it worthwhile. Another Pit of Shades is going to hit the Black Arc Corsairs. Man, the Dark Elf's just taking a lot of damage. The balance power isn't shifting that much, but it feels really fucking bad. Black Arc Corsairs route off some Spearmen. They are going to get onto more Spearmen. They'll have their fill of Spearmen if they want to fight them. Golden Knights are missing large targets to go get. Maybe they could find some War Lions somewhere. That could be maybe worth their time. Honestly, yeah, the War Lions are a little isolated right now. I wouldn't hate it if Golden Knights went and tracked them down. Dread Spears and Bleak Swords getting chased by the Lions, but as long as they can hold with Murderous Prowess popped, they'll get good value back onto the War Lions of Krace. Crows of Cain feasting on fools, trying to heal back up. Bounce power is slightly high elf favored, and I do agree. Where do those Golden Knights go? There they are. One Golden Knight is going back for the War Lions like we had hoped. Catches a few of them, getting some pretty good damage out, as those guys countercharge onto Black Arc Corsairs. And this should be a terror route, as a giant dragon lands on the Rangers, gets a good charge attack in. If it terror routes them, then that'll be really nice for the Crows of Cain to be able to chase them off the map, because the Crows should be able to route them. Should is a key word. And Dark Riders plus the Cold Knights. Oh god, those Cold Knights are taking a lot of damage. Anyway, Dark Riders should be able to chase anything that's routing. You should have cavalry advantage because the Lions are like pseudo-cav, but if you get your Cold Knights to fight them, you'll beat them up. So if their cav is your cav, you can chase off stuff. Big route in on the High Elves. I see 5-6 units routing right now. The Dragon Lord helping out a little bit over here as Witch Elves and Black Arc Corsairs try and team up on the Spearmen, who are going to get rear charged by Cold One Knights. The Cold Knights just have such a limp charge. They really don't seem to pile in on the Spearmen. They don't get everything they need out of their mass. Balance power shifting in the favor of the Dark Elves, though. So we still have a very healthy, large dragon lady with a huge breath attack onto a very healthy Spearman, takes them all down. Now everything in this area is close to routing. I wonder if she follows up with a Soul Stealer and a dive in. There it is, a Soul Stealer and a dive in. My boy hits everything with that Soul Stealer. Once again, it doesn't heal her any because she's already max health. So if we get to a hyper late game situation, the fact that none of these Soul Stealers have been used for healing could be a problem, but they are getting nice clusters, nice blobs, really punishing those things. The Crows of Cain are diving in on the Lothern Sea Guard, and the Dark Elves are really hanging in there. They're scrapping it out. These Golden Knights need to opt out of this fight. It looks like they are. Dark Riders have rallied in the trees. They could be used to chase things off. The Cold Knights are actually opting back into the fight. They're charging into Spears who are routing, so yeah, okay, they are just surrounding the enemy lord. I still think they need to go find War Lions wherever they exist and chase those things down, but I guess most of the War Lions are dead. Most of them are. Another Pit of Shades onto a big old cluster of Dark Elf units. Looks like it catches a Dark Rider and both these infantry with the War Lions charging out of the trees. That should be a mass route away from the Dark Elves. Cold Knights will turn around and fight it, though. Big problem is a full health Dragon Lord. That's just a problem. I don't know what they're going to do about it. Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma onto some Black Arc Corsairs to get rid of them. High Elves are securing the infantry advantage, but I'm not sure it's going to matter as their stuff is too low to really kill the Dark Elf Lord. Dark Elf Lords on Dragons hate to just sit in infantry and grind. But with how wounded all this infantry is, she can probably clear him out, honestly. And she has Cold One Knight support. She dives back in. If she has one more Soul Stealer, she could throw it onto this blob and just end the game. Though, I wonder if she even has it. She might. She does have Power of Darkness she's been throwing out every so often. First of many terror outs comes in for the Spearmen. Cold One Knights are charging onto Unbraced Lothern Seaguard. Get decent impact damage, but a Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma plus a charge from the Eagle Caster should honestly kill them off or shatter them entirely. Dark Elf Caster is coming over. She might have words as she awkwardly takes off, then gently lands. Decides against it, is just going to tear out the Lothern Seaguard. I think there is some charging to be done, so I will play it on ×2 speed for now. Dragon Lord is still landing on Lothern Seaguard, gets them to rout. Crows of Cain rout off another Ranger. Dark Elf Dragon Lady goes in, routs off more spears, and now the Shadows Caster does run away. Now all the High Elf units are routing, leaving just the Shadowcaster, who gets hit with a Soul Stealer, and is fighting spears, and is fighting a Dragon Lady. And Floof on the Dark Elves puts NA's third point on the board. And that is it. End score is 8-3. EU slamming down these fools in NA, but shit happens. Shit happens. GG's, GG's. If you are still around, I tried using the YouTube thing where you can send someone to someone else's stream, but it did not work because it said I needed special permissions. So here is another Warhammer live stream. It is Lucinia's one build tournament. That's silly. So there's that. If you want to check out more content afterwards, like I said, I tried doing the Throw to X channel, but I apparently need their permission because YouTube's being stupid. So that's that. All right. GG's, everyone. And good bye.